in. They come out and visit you at your home. They listen to how you live your life in your home, and then they design customized solutions for you. One of the cool things that they do, I absolutely love this, is if you've got a guest bedroom, excuse me, if you've got a guest bedroom, and maybe you only have people sleeping in this guest bedroom a few times a year, consider doing built-in shelving that has a wall bed in it. So the guest room usage is still retained, but you also get to claim that back as an office, as a yoga space, as a craft room, whatever it is that suits the majority of your life. These are the kinds of customized solutions they come up with you, and they are beautiful and they are affordable. 314-961-4300, 314-961-4300. Call the Closet Factory today and tell them the Annie Fry Show said hello. ClosetFactory.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visit your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
97.1 FM Talk is the place for ideas and discussion that's free and fair. Stay connected by downloading the radio.com app. It's all at 971talk.com. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
This bill represents a historic victory for the American people. I look forward to signing it later this week. Everything in the American Rescue Plan addresses a real need, including investments to fund our entire vaccination effort, more vaccines, more vaccinators, and more vaccination sites. Millions more Americans will get tested, including home testing. Schools will soon have the funding and resources to reopen safely, a national imperative.
So the president is going to be speaking here in about 20 minutes or so on the signing of this bill. It was originally scheduled for President Biden to sign the COVID-19 relief package, which has 9% to do with COVID-19 and I guess 91% to do with Democratic pet projects. He's going to sign this now at 12:30. So they've bumped this up an entire day. Very interesting. We are going to pay attention to that and see where that takes us here and watch as that happens within the hour. But if you heard Biden there, he says everything in this bill needs to be in this bill. Have you heard about how this bill affects farmers? Now, I was reading this and it was very interesting to me because it's not a story that I'm hearing a lot of people talk about right now. But man, I know a few farmers in the listening area right now. Farmers react to billions in COVID-19 relief bill for Black farmers. Where did common sense go? That's the Fox News headline here. And I'm gonna explain a little bit of what's in this bill regarding assistance to farmers. This is where farming meets equity. So let's talk about it here for a second. The $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package that Biden is set to sign in a few minutes here includes billions of dollars in debt relief and other assistance for farmers of color. The incorporation of race-based criteria for that relief is leaving other farmers scratching their heads. So we've got billions of dollars. The relief package includes an estimated $4 billion to pay up to 120% of Black, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American farmers' outstanding debt as of January 1st. This is according to the American Farm Bureau Federation. So essentially, if you're white and you have the same kind of debt, that's just your SOL, as they say. I guess I can abbreviate things. This is a quote here from Kelly Griggs, who runs an 1,800-acre farm with her husband in Humboldt, Tennessee. Just because you're a certain color, you don't have to pay back money. I don't care if you're purple, black, yellow, white, gray. If you borrow money, you have to pay it back. In theory, yeah, that's the way it should be, right? It just doesn't seem to be the way our government tends to look at things. And don't forget that the government obviously doesn't have any money. It's our money that's going to fund this. In fact, maybe that's not even the true statement. It's our kids' money. It's our grandkids' money. The package also designates about $1 billion for equity commissions, agricultural training, improved land access, and other assistance to advance racial justice in farming. It's pretty amazing. John Boyd is the president of the National Black Farmers Association, and he said to Fox News, quote, by denying or delaying Black farmers the same loans, subsidies, and other payments made to white farmers, USDA engaged in systematic racism that led to a dramatic decline in the number of Black farmers. This is not in dispute. Black farmers accounted for approximately 1/6 of farmers in 1920. Less than 2% of farms were run by Black producers in 2017. So here we have a $4 billion inclusion in this COVID-19 bill to make sure that we have more farmers of color. How does that fall? How does that idea fall under COVID-19 stimulus? And again, let's go back to that original point. If the government is going to spend our money, if the government is going to take money out of my pocket, out of my kid's pocket, out of my grandkids' pocket, to put it into somebody else's right now, should that have its own day in court, so to speak? Should that bill be able to go in front of Congress and be debated and discussed for the merit that it stands upon? And if it's a worthy cause, it should get passed? Seems to me that when you label something a COVID-19 stimulus package for the People Act, when you label something as a stimulus that is necessary, of course, you listen to Joe Biden there say that everything in this is necessary, $1.9 trillion. Shouldn't everything in there have to do with what the label of this thing is? It's quite, if you had a bingo card as to things that were going to be in the stimulus package, I doubt racial equity for farmers was going to be high on your list of 24 squares that you were going to have to fill out. And it's just some of what's there. Sam Graves, who's a representative from Missouri, took issue with racial justice and agricultural provisions contemplated in the bill. This is what he said. What happened to equal protection under the law? This is wrong and un-American. I'm sure there are a lot of Americans out there who would love to have our tax dollars pay off all their debts. This is targeted to a very select few. So, what else are we going to find out is in this bill? If you listen to, thank you, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who pushed the reading of the entire bill that took about 11 hours on the Senate floor with the Micro Machines guy. If you listen to the whole bill, then you probably already knew this, but I doubt a lot of Americans know this. It's just kind of frustrating to see that these types of bills, these types of massive government spending bills, instead of doing what they say that they're out to do, use this as an opportunity to throw and cast a very wide net for pet projects that, whether they're worthy causes or not, those causes are not being debated. This is a Republican voter on the bill. Listen to this.
We're definitely feeling the crunch like most people.
Alexo Bell is a Donald Trump loyalist, but he's willing to put party affiliation aside to support President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill.
Whether it be Biden or Trump, I think the country needs that stimulus.
He's not alone. 61% of Americans support it, one of the largest aid packages in history.
So when you have Republicans, voters, Trump supporters saying they support this bill, if they need stimulus, I mean, we've been talking about stimulus for quite some time. We've had 2 stimulus already passed, right? We've been able to see what stimulus can and can't do for people. You just wonder if how much of this $1.9 trillion is going overseas? How much of this $1.9 trillion is going to assist in things like, what is it, an underground drain for Silicon Valley or something like that? I saw $650 million for pet projects in Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco district. I mean, is this COVID relief? I guess this Republican voter, and probably maybe even you, say, well, if this is the way we got to get it, this is the way we got to get it. Listen to Representative Jayapal here on criticizing
It's a
Republicans.
very big tactical mistake for Republicans, and that's why I think you see some of the Republicans trying to claim credit for some of the things that are in this bill, because they're going to have to go home to their constituents. And this bill has 76% approval across the country. And they're going to have to try to explain why they voted no on a package that puts money in people's pockets and that helps people survive this terrible set of crises that we're in right now.
So Representative Jayapal, it's very kind of her. She's very concerned about the Republican Party. And how are these Republican representatives going to go speak to their people? I'll tell you what, they're not going to want to go speak to their people if they come back and say, yeah, I voted for that. Yeah, that's something that I supported. They can't go back to their constituents and say that, because their constituents put them in Washington, D.C. for a purpose, to stop this kind of drunken sailor spending that goes on in Washington, D.C. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Something terrible happens and you get power hungry, drunk on the idea of the authority that you have because you have a majority, albeit about as slim as it could possibly be. No Republicans support this. Maybe Representative Jayapal should consider, putting her laser focused criticism on the Democrats who voted against this in the House. Maybe she should be concerned about her fellow party members who said, no, I can't do this. This is not what I think is best for the country. Maybe look inward first before you go out to the Republican Party, because I have yet to hear a Republican who has had the opportunity to vote on this, who has expressed any kind of resolve about how this is ultimately what's best for the country in light of their no vote. And I have yet to hear any Republican voter that I've spoken to look at this bill and say, yes, this is the way that we fix our country. This is the way that we solve our problems, through massive spending that includes a bunch of things that have nothing to do with the concern at heart. Just imagine for a second if you ran your budget in your house like this. You would be on the streets and you would be looking for somebody to bail you out. Probably be voting Democrat then. You'd be looking for somebody to come take over for you where you left off on your responsibility here and save the day with some sort of government project because you're down on your luck. We have money to spend in our own personal budgets, and we can afford what we can afford. We can't afford more than that. I go back to the Dan Bongino cut from yesterday. There's no money. There's no money. There's no money. There's no money. He probably said it 6 or 7 times. There's still no money. And now there's even less money for the generations to come in this country. I don't know. I can't map out the racial equality among farmers. I don't know if there are a lot of farmers who are not white who have been dying to farm and who have not been able to have access to that. And if it's been held back from them because of their color of their skin, then that is absolutely wrong. But let's look at what we're spending our money on. And again, like I said, if you have an issue, if you have a concern and you want to change the policy, let's talk about the policies and then pass them on their merits. Let's not stuff them into a pork barrel project like a COVID-19 relief bill, where in one hand, we're talking about the 500,000 people who have perished at this awful, awful virus. And on the other hand, we're using those people, those deaths, to get pet projects through for Democrats. It's gross. Joe Biden will be signing this bill here shortly, a day earlier than anticipated, and we're keeping a close eye on that. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break here. Personal invitation from me to you. Come stream us live on our Facebook page, on our YouTube page, Annie Fry on YouTube. We're streaming live. You can participate in the live chat. Same with the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. We'll be here on the break and we'll wave hi to you and say hello. And then we'll talk with you when we come back. How do you feel about this stimulus bill? Are you glad they did something like that Republican voter said? We need something. I'm glad they did something. Maybe you are. 314-241-9797. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Sometimes old ideas aren't good, they're just old. For too long, Missouri officials have operated on the mistaken notion that education should only take place in person in an assigned public school. The pandemic has shown that's not good enough. Reform is needed to give parents choices to get their children the best education available. One great option is education savings accounts, or ESAs. The money the state would normally pay to your child's public school would go into an account that you control. You would be able to access the funds for private school tuition, online learning programs, or other approved uses. You can use that money to tailor your child's education. ESAs would put parents in charge. It's school choice at its best, with money following the student and not buildings. Let's help parents find an education that fits the needs of their child. Learn more in our 2021 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Hello, Marvin Mitchell here from Compass Retirement Solutions. Did you know that the average 3-year CD rate in the area was less than 1%? That's why we are excited to offer you several accounts that are short-term and pay better than bank rates. For example, we currently have a 3-year account paying 2.4% and a 5-year account paying 3.5% per year guaranteed. What a great place for your lazy money. You know, the money that you don't plan to use for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, terms and conditions do apply. So for more information, call 314-373-1598. Again, call 314-373-1598. This is Marvin Mitchell, and we would like to put your lazy money to work for you. Call 314-373-1598.
Guarantees are backed by the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Rates can change without notice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock, masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun. Always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates. Call 618-206-5935. 618-206-5935. That's 618-206-5935.
Who wouldn't want a little free money?
Be sure to thank your government.
Not on this one, Bernie. The Mark Cox redistribution of wealth happens just after the news at the top of the hour. Text in the keyword for a chance to win $1,000. Message and data rates may apply.
Have we canceled anything new today? Did I miss anything? Something?
I don't think anything new
day's
today.
Yeah, but I mean, it's past noon. Usually there's a thing or two that's presented itself by now. Nothing?
I have not seen. I don't think anything was canceled today.
So
Although we'll probably get some messages saying I was wrong, but
maybe it's us. Maybe we didn't.
Yeah,
maybe
we didn't do
if
it.
you don't know what it is, it's you. It's one of those
You gotta
things.
believe in yourself, man.
If you're not the obnoxious, if you don't know who the obnoxious family member is in your family, it's probably you. That's what I've heard. We're waiting. We're going to watch President Biden, listen to President Biden as he signs this massive COVID bill, see if he has any comments on this. I think it's important to watch. I had this dream last night. It was like a half dream, kind of like laying in bed, half awake or whatever. And I got to set up the dream a little bit because it makes my dream seem a little less crazy. This morning at about 6:15 or so, I'm laying in bed. My 4-year-old had crawled into bed with us. And I was looking through Facebook, looking for some stories to read or whatever. And I saw a picture of cinnamon rolls and I just showed it to her. And I'm like, look at these. That look good. She's like, ooh, that looks real good. So then it was nice because instead of me looking through like to find out what we canceled today, we just started looking for pictures of yummy food, which a lot of it is treats. There's a big festival going on at Epcot at Disney World. And I follow a lot of Disney stuff. So we were just looking for the new treats that were coming out. They're all real pretty. So I had this probably 30 minutes of laying in bed looking at food pictures with Evelyn. So then I fall back asleep after they go to school. And I had this dream that I returned to high school, which is a recurring dream that I had. I told you folks before, I transferred schools in the middle of my 4 years of high school, went from private to public to back to private, missed a year of sports. And there's a dream at least once a week that I go back and I get to play sports again, or I'm back in school and I got to pick classes. And except for I'm always like old and out of shape. It's never like I get to go back and enjoy my 16, 17-year-old self. It's just me now, pregnant.
Yeah, I was going to say pregnant.
I got lots of things to explain. So I have this dream that I am going into PE, but I don't have any PE clothes. I don't have my PE uniform. So I asked one of my good friends, hey, can I borrow your PE uniform? She's like, no, we can't. We're not allowed to get it dirty. If we get it dirty, we get in big trouble or whatever. It's got to stay really clean. I'm like, I won't do anything at PE. I'll just not participate in anything, but I need to go. Otherwise, I'm going to get like an F for the day or whatever. So I talk her into it. And I'm wearing this uniform of hers, the PE uniform. And like the project for the day is to eat powdered sugar donuts.
Oh my gosh.
So that there has to be a callback to my perusing of the Facebook feed for yummy treats with Evelyn earlier in the morning. But it's like, how do you eat powdered sugar donuts without getting it all over yourself? And here's the weird thing. And this is why I know that I'm a crazy person. I'm having this dream and I have to participate in this. Everybody is eating the powdered sugar donuts. Everything is going everywhere. And it was immediately obvious that only certain people were getting trouble for having messy uniforms. Like they were picking and choosing. And I'm like, but you can see the powdered sugar all over everybody else. Why are you not? And I'm like, I woke up, I was like, what was I dreaming about? Why is it so obvious that everybody has powdered sugar on their face, but why are only certain people getting busted for it? I'm like, this is the same thing as cancel culture. Like you can dig back on people. You can go back. Katie sent me a link to a comedian that she likes. Mm-hmm. Who is it?
Brian Callen.
Mm-hmm. So he does a podcast. He got canceled from his podcast or something.
Yes, he is one of the first. He is one of the first podcasters I discovered, and he started his podcast from the ground up with his brother. And
A while ago.
A while ago. He had his podcast for about 7 years. And then last year, something happened. Someone made an allegation about him from 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he had to leave the podcast that he built from the ground up with his brother because all of his sponsorships.
If he would have stayed, it would have crashed it for
Yes.
his brother.
Yeah. And everybody was like, we can't touch this. I'm sorry, Brian. I know you're a good person. We cannot have ties with you anymore. And he had to step away, like Annie just said, because then it started to affect his brother and his brother's income and his livelihood. So he stepped away for that.
Doesn't everybody have powdered sugar on their face?
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yes.
Somehow. I mean, if you go back far enough, and if you are vindictive enough, and if you have enough hatred in your belly, and enough freaking spare time in your life, you can cancel anybody. I'm sure, I don't know what is lingering out there right now to cancel me, but I'm sure that you could take something I've said over the course of the, let's see, I started with Mark Cox on Sunday nights in 2014. So I'm going on 7 years of being on the radio. I'm sure there's something you could pull out of context for sure and play out there and potentially cancel me. But we look around and everybody has powdered sugar on their face, and only certain people get called out for it. And everybody sees that. Everybody knows that. The people who are not getting called out for it, the reason they're not getting called out for it is because they're on the air quotes right side of the power structure, not the issue. They're on the right. They have the microphones, they have the cameras, they have the prominence, they have the power that they get to get away with things. And you're sitting around here like with the visual of everybody trying to get through life. And of course, if life involves eating a powdered donut from here to there, you're going to get a little messy from time to time. You can't eat something like that without experiencing a little bit of mess. You can brush it off. You can take care of yourself. You can try your best. Heck, sometimes somebody else's powdered sugar gets on you, and it's hard to differentiate between where it came from the beginning. But I just remember in my dream, I was so mad because I was trying so hard to be so perfect, and I screwed up my friend's uniform and was going to get in big trouble. It was thinking about it after I woke up, thinking, I'm pregnant. Do I want powdered sugar donuts? Is that is this really about? Like, I'm thinking like all figuratively and existential about this. And really what it is today I'm 26 weeks pregnant and I would like a powdered donut. Also, that's also very possible. But when you consider something like the Mumford & Sons banjo player who read a book and liked it, I mean, like, can't you get like Mein Kampf on Amazon right now? You can't get a Dr. Seuss book, specific Dr. Seuss books on there. How is that possible? Like, no rational person, no common sense thinking person can look at those two scenarios and go, well, that makes sense. I get that. I understand that. And if you have a fear that somebody else is going to take a literary work, whether that literary work is Shakespeare or Karl Marx or freaking Dr. Seuss, and not understand it the way you want them to understand it, go to a different freaking country, because that's not how we do things here. If you're going to read, gosh, you could read anything. If you're a racist person, if you come from racist undertones, you're going to see everything through that lens, because that's what your heart is. The book doesn't make you racist. It's the person reading you the book and how they present that to you. It's how they act outside of the book. It's how they act when they're in the grocery store with people. It's how they act when they're walking down the street at nighttime. I'll tell you this. We were watching Agent Carter on Disney Plus, which is about Peggy Carter, who was the love interest of Captain America in the first Marvel movie. Captain America, spoiler alert, goes down in a ship. Another spoiler alert, he gets out of the ship later. And Peggy Carter loses Captain America, and Agent Carter on Disney Plus is a 2-season series about Peggy Carter's life after Captain America goes down and she loses him. So we're watching the second season, and part of the second season is Peggy Carter trying to solve some crime scene or whatever. And one of her co-stars is a black scientist, doctor type of person. He's very smart, very handsome, very charming. He's a good guy, at least as far into the movie or the show that I've seen. And there's one point, because this is set in like the late 1940s, I believe. There's one part where they need help. They need to make a phone call and they need to get change for a payphone. So they go into a bakery, and Peggy Carter, who's white, runs into this bakery with this doctor who is black. And as soon as they go in there, the baker looks at her, looks at the man who's black, and looks back at her and says, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And says it like straight like that in a very judgmental, concerned way. And she's like, "Yes, I'm fine. I just need change for the payphone." And he looks back at the black man and looks back at Peggy and says, "Ma'am, can I help you?" And the obvious indication there is that these two ran in. There was a white woman and a black man, and he knows, the baker knows that she's in trouble and she needs help. And I'm watching this. My husband's watching this. We know what's going on, but we're watching it with our kids. My 8-year-old daughter was in there. So we paused it. I said to my middle daughter, I said, "Do you know why he's doing this?" And she's like, "No." I said, "It's important for you to know that baker is asking her if she's okay just because she's standing by a black man." And my daughter stopped and looked at me and goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, because she walked in with a black man in the late 1940s. That baker is assuming, because he saw that man's skin color, that she's in trouble." And she looked at me, she goes, "That's terrible." And I said, "It is terrible." Then we went on with the movie. Now, if that movie or if that show was not on Disney Plus at the time, and I know Disney Plus, I got it. But if that part wasn't in that movie, or if that were to get canceled because it portrays a black man as dangerous with Peggy Carter and a baker judges him for his skin color, and it gets taken out of my house, and I don't get to have that conversation with my daughter, then she doesn't know that. But here's the thing, folks. It's not Disney Plus's responsibility to teach that to my daughter. It's not her school's responsibility to teach that to my daughter. It sure as hell is not the government's responsibility to teach that to my daughter. It's mine. And it's my husband's. And it is our job as a mom and as a dad to take opportunities like that to explain to her in a safe place the context of what was, so that she can know and respond, "Thank God." That's terrible. It is terrible, but it did happen. And when you remove any instance of this that creates a scenario where parents can have conversations with their kids, we lose those opportunities to prove how it used to be. Don't just take my word for it. Here are examples of how it used to be. And you better know that we can never, ever, ever go back there. And it's partly your responsibility to make sure we don't. This cancel culture is going to cancel out our opportunities to teach our kids how to not repeat the past. And the past is the past. History exists. It was real. It was there. And if we remove all of these instances, if we pretend that nobody has their powdered sugar, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to radio.com and rewind, and that will make more sense. If nobody has the ability to realize that everybody's got a little bit of powdered sugar on their face, on their shirt, maybe on their pants, some more prevalent than others possibly. If we pretend that it isn't there, then we will get to a point where we don't acknowledge that it's there because we won't recognize it. And that's the worst case scenario. Let's take a quick break. We're still watching for Joe Biden to sign the COVID relief bill, massive spending bill that was passed only by Democrats. You can join us on our Facebook Live, on the YouTube Live, and you can also check us out at radio.com. We're streaming live right there as well. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Changing every day, every possible way.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com. Making the decision to replace flooring in your house, that is a cool, awesome commitment because it is such a way to bring the home back to life. If you've got some carpet in your house and it's run its course, you've lived your life on it, and it is time for it to be replaced, think about all of the technology that has been invested into flooring since the last time that you had it installed. Or maybe you bought your house and you've never replaced the flooring. The carpet options that you have at Michael's Flooring Outlet are immense. The colors, finishes of the carpet, lengths of the carpet, the pad that you can put under the carpet, they have all of those options for you. And when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, you are talking to experts. You're going to talk to people who make their living, understand flooring, so that they can help you make the best decision for your home. You can ask them about the Mohawk Silk Reserve flooring. It has an amazing softness with maximum durability. It's going to last the test of time. Your investment is going to be a wise one. Like I said, the expert staff at Michael's Flooring Outlet can help pair you with that flooring choice that is going to meet your circumstances in your home. Visit them online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Join the millions switching to Spectrum Mobile and you could save up to 40%. Nationwide 5G is included with every plan, and there are no added taxes or fees, plus no contracts. And for a limited time, get up to $300 off a new Samsung 5G phone with trade-in when you switch to Spectrum Mobile. Visit a Spectrum store near you or go to spectrummobile.com today. Savings based on comparison of single-line comparable unlimited plans amongst major national carriers as of 1/27/2021. Data usage limits vary by carrier. Spectrum internet required. Services not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
No one was prepared for COVID-19 to affect every part of our lives. While furloughs and layoffs are still happening, there's a way to keep employees working and businesses running. It's called the Shared Work Program. Go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
We're going to be okay. I've seen what the human spirit can do. The staff helped me stay connected and try new things. I only wish I'd come here sooner. Those aren't my words. Those are the wise words of current residents of the Gatesworth, a vibrant senior living community and a St. Louis tradition for over 30 years. The Gatesworth is now welcoming new residents and would love to get to know you. Call 314-993-0111 or visit them online at thegatesworth.com.
Oh, do I love talking about my friends Ranjan Malhotra, Dr. Greg Birdie at Ophthalmology Associates, the doctors, Dr. Birdie, Dr. Malhotra, Dr. Robert Bersati, who was so kind and saw me during my eye health examination, my annual eye health examination, because I will be back, and Dr. Andrew Royer. I want to leave him out. Ophthalmology Associates, they are terrific. They're open to take care of all of your vision needs. They are here for you. Your vision is their business. The doctors. In fact, their website is catchy, youridoc.com. They're on Manchester Road, just a half mile west of 270. Excellent eye care. The annual eye health examination can prevent many kinds of eye and health problems down the road. So that's nice peace of mind for me. My vision is good. My eye health is good. And by the way, these eye exams are usually covered by your medical insurance. They were covered by mine, and they can save your sight. Be sure to schedule your exam today at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Move into your new dream home without leaving your old one. When you hire the professionals as CertaPro painters, painting is the perfect way to renew and refresh the home you love. You can trust the proven experts at CertaPro painters to handle every detail. Worry-free from start to finish. Painting inside or out, you deserve service you can count on. Get your project started today with a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Whether you're an experienced sports bettor or someone who's just starting out, BetQL is here to help us become better bettors. Get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
You can stop the radio anytime and rewind. Just visit 971talk.com and click listen. Or download the radio.com app. 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, once upon a
midnight period walk with something.
Speaking of cancel culture, we've been talking about that in my weird dream life. Piers Morgan gets called out by Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle goes on, what is it? I don't know, primetime Sunday night show, or what Tuesday night? What day is it? It's Thursday.
Gosh, yeah.
Was it the beginning of the week though?
Yeah, it was at the beginning of the week.
Seems like it's always been a part of our life with Oprah, and just trucks the entire monarchy system and Great Britain and the press and everything that is England. She just goes and tries to flatten in one fell swoop with Oprah. And Piers Morgan takes it personally, which I think a lot of people in Britain would. I don't know. I've heard a couple people having conversations about this. I didn't realize that there are people, or a contingent of people, who are defending Meghan Markle in this. I don't.
They are mainly from the U.S. that are.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, still.
There's
whatever.
A lot of people.
I don't. From what I understand, Piers Morgan challenged the truth of her claim of her mental health, which is what maybe was the straw that broke the camel's back. So she calls, like, Meghan Markle is going to, not nationally, globally trash the Queen and everything that stems from the Queen, and complain and accuse and assert terrible things about the royal situation in England. And then Piers Morgan says something bad about her, and so she calls and files a formal complaint. Oh, this thin skin, how quick it cracks. And so Piers quits, right? He quit. He didn't get fired, right? He's like,
quit.
And I adore that they came back to him afterwards and were like, have you thought about this? And he's like, yeah, I'm right. He's totally standing by his opinion that what she is doing is wrong, and what she is doing is, whatever it is. I do think when you get into the criticism of, Meghan Markle said she had suicidal thoughts. That's a heavy thing. That is something to take very seriously. And Piers Morgan is probably, if he wouldn't have quit, might have been pushed to have to be let go if he wouldn't have done that, because he went there. But I gotta say, it's nice to see someone say, yeah, I'm going to lose something for this, but I'm going to actually stand by what I said instead of caving. Like the Mumford & Sons banjo player who's like, I'm so sorry I said that this book was.
Oh, come on.
How disappointing. If every single one of those people would ever, because 90% of them all cave, right? Like a little bit of pressure and they go, oh man, I didn't really mean it. Like, please protect my career. They do that. But I love it when Gina Carano comes out and Piers Morgan, and they just are like, no, I'm not going to cave. Like, I'm right. And I can have an opinion that differs from yours.
Mm-hmm. Gina Carano, even with her Ben Shapiro article, didn't say her argument wasn't that she was right, because her argument was about opinion. She didn't say that she was right or anyone else was wrong. She explained herself, and she stood by who she was and what she intended at the time, and said essentially that nobody else really cared about what she intended. They just moved to strike, and they did. Piers Morgan is kind of doing the same thing. He's like, this is my opinion. And he said, I'll go be alone with my opinions now.
And, I forgot, Annie, you asked at the beginning of last segment if anybody's getting canceled today. And I think that Sharon Osbourne might be walking the tightrope because she defended Piers. She's like, he's entitled to have his own opinion. Do I disagree with his opinion? Yep. But that is his opinion and his opinion alone. And he's allowed to say what he wants to say. It's funny because a lot of people after he quit were like, I never liked the guy to begin with. I think I'm the minority. I love people like Piers Morgan. They remind me a lot of Trump. They have very similar types of personality where they get asked after they say something, do you regret it? Is it really wrong? And they double down and say, no, I believe what I believe. And this is why I believe it. And nothing has changed. And we're going to see a lot of people from a lot of different professions and a lot of different political ideologies come out more, I hope and pray, and say enough is enough. We're not going to put up with this anymore. And we don't care about politically what somebody else believes. this has got to end. The cancel culture has got to stop.
Do we care more about our own political positions than we care about people? I think the obvious answer is yes. As a society, as a culture, we and it's not even about being right, is it? It's not even about getting it right. It's about making sure you're safe yourself from being canceled. You might not have a big platform. You might not have a lot of social media notoriety if you're lucky. You might not have a mass amount of people waiting to hear what you think about something. But I know that you have felt compelled before to react to something when everybody, anytime there's a crisis that happens, anytime, think about Michael Brown, go all the way back to, was it 2014, Michael Brown, when that happened, and Michael Brown's friend is giving his report to the news reporter saying, he was standing there and he put his hands up in the air and he says, don't shoot, don't shoot. That turned it up into hands up, don't shoot. That will be on a sign at a protest the next time that we have a racially concerned protest that exists. Like, for instance, in Minneapolis, where they've created an autonomous zone for the George Floyd situation right now. We see these things happen. Anybody can watch the George Floyd video and see it is cringeworthy. Anybody who sees that video, who has a heart and a soul and a brain, isn't going to like it. You're going to have different thoughts and opinions, especially based on your experience in life, about how it happened, what should have happened, all of the things that the police officers should have done differently, all of the things that George Floyd should have done differently, all of the things that the bystanders should have done differently. That's hindsight. But when you see it, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know anybody who watches that and goes, yeah, I'm fine with that. God forbid that you see something like that at this point in time and have become fine with that. But when you see the Michael Brown case and then you find out down the street, or down the road, I should say, figuratively speaking, that the hands up, don't shoot thing is completely false. That didn't happen. He completely retracted that statement. He said that's not the way it went. Doesn't the hands up, don't shoot thing really change the context of that moment? If Michael Brown was confronted by a police officer and he put his hands up in the air and he says, don't shoot, and then the police officer fires bullets into his body, is a way, way, way different scenario than Michael Brown and the officer going at each other, wrestling, when there's a gun in the mix, be it Michael Brown's or not Michael Brown's, be it the police officers. That's a different scenario, and it's going to evoke very different reactions from people. That doesn't mean that it's not something that doesn't deem your attention and your concern and a look into the future as to how we could prevent situations like that from happening again. It also doesn't mean that we don't need to double down on our efforts to make sure that the relationship between police officers and these different communities where a lot of violence takes place, that we need to work on building a trust there. Hands up, don't shoot destroys every ounce of trust that anybody would have, if that were true, in the police officers that are entrusted with that safety and security of that community. And it was false. It was a lie. And it really changed the course of history, not just the Michael Brown trial, history. But when you see something like that happen, Michael Brown, George Floyd, man, there are so many who have been in between there, and that's a real tragedy. Mm-hmm. But you see it. How compelled do you feel to make a statement on it? Just to go on the record, this is terrible. Doesn't have to be a big statement, doesn't have to be a bold statement, but you want to be on the record, don't you? Mm-hmm. Because what if you're not? If you're not, what are people going to know about you? If you don't say Black Lives Matter, if you don't say all lives matter, if you don't say blue lives matter, if you don't say something at the time, then people aren't going to know where you stand on the issue. And if they don't know where you stand, what if they assume the worst about you? honestly, what if they assume the worst about you? And what if somebody snap judgment assuming the worst about you is an opportunity for you to understand who that person is, not for them to understand who you are. It's a personal PR campaign that you're running for yourself on a social media platform where you probably have a few hundred followers or friends or whatever, people who you see, people who you talk to, a lot of people who you don't. We get so wrapped up in this, and then it becomes this big thing. And the more people who do it, the more you feel like you have to do it for fear that that person who you haven't seen in 15 years is going to assume something about you. They're already assuming it about everybody. You can say something now, but if you don't say the right way or the right thing at the right time, you're still going to get judged for it, because we care more about our own personal PR campaigns and pushing off what other people think about us than it ever is about the actual issue at hand, which these are real issues. Trust between, these types of communities and police officers. We need to be paying attention to that, but we're so busy paying attention to ourselves. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk to Tyrus when we come back. LakesideRenovationAndDesign.com is the website when you are looking to do that renovation at your home, when you're looking to take that space that hasn't been working 100% for you, or maybe you've realized you need more space and you need a room addition. Lakeside is there to help. They can help you with outdoor transformations like beautiful James Hardy siding installation. I saw some stonework that they put up on a house, and it just brought this house to life. It was so stunningly beautiful. Or drafty windows. If you've got heat that's escaping your home through your drafty windows, or potentially cold air that's going to be escaping your home through drafty windows, they are exclusive to Infinity Windows. They are beautiful fiberglass replacement windows, and they can help you get that project started today. All you got to do is call them at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. Call them and talk to them about your project and get started on the process. They have a ton of financing options available as well, with the most popular being 18 months interest-free financing. Learn more online at LakesideRenovationAndDesign.com.
One of the smartest things that James Carlton did at State Farm is the same thing that Ryan Kelly did, and Skip Weber, and Robert Hoffman, and so many of my live endorsement clients, where there's like one, person at the top. And that is that they put together a team, knowing that they can't do it all themselves. Like me, I have done 50 or 100 shows by myself when I used to fill in for Glenn Beck and, people nationally like that. Not only did I hate it, I'm not good at it. I need my team. And so James Carlton is so effective at finding you savings, at finding you the exact perfect right policy for whatever it is, whether it's your home or your life or a car or you name it, disability, they have it all. It's his team that makes James so great, and he gives them all the credit. Reach out to him if you have a need, if you have a triggering event that comes up and makes you think about insurance, or if you just want to save some money going into winter. 314-961-4800, carltoninsurance.net.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. It's a new year, and interest rates are still at historic lows. If you have not taken advantage of today's low rates, what are you waiting for? Whether your goal this year is to refinance to a shorter term, cash out to pay off debt, or maybe remodel your home, maybe purchase your first or even your fifth home, our low rates will save you money. I'm here in St. Louis and want to put my local market experience to work for you. Whether purchasing or refinancing, my goal is to help you save money on your home loan. And when you call, don't be surprised when I answer the phone. Call me today, Michael Mohan, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
Fox News alerts. COVID relief, a done deal. Lisa Brady. President Biden just about to sign the American Rescue Plan into law. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Lisa, stimulus checks will soon be on the way to millions of Americans. The $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package includes expanded unemployment benefits, which were due to lapse in 3 days. billions of dollars for testing and vaccine distribution, and funding for state and local governments. The signing that's coming is coming 1 year to the day of the World Health Organization declaring the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic, and ahead of the president's first primetime national address this evening. A signing ceremony is still planned tomorrow at the White House.
Thanks, Rachel. Some of the fencing around the U.S. Capitol is coming down. Fox News learning the Capitol Police Board has agreed to begin reducing the fencing footprint, even as the National Guard presence is extended. And it turns out there was some disagreement over that.
President Biden's Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin overruled his National Guard chief about extending the Guard in D.C. In a memo exclusively obtained by Jillian Turner of Fox, General Daniel Hokanson says the National Guard is stretched too thin to guard the Capitol for another 2 months. Hokanson says so far only 500 Guard troops have volunteered to stay through the end of May. Defense Secretary Austin ordered 2,300 to remain in D.C.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. Hokanson noting the Guard's many other missions, from helping with COVID vaccines to war zone deployments, also expressing concern an indefinite timeline in D.C. could hurt future efforts to get volunteers. Air Force investigators just telling reporters that a man who broke into a plane at Joint Base Andrews last month walked around the base for more than 5 hours before he was caught, and that a guard at the gate where he entered was distracted by personal issues. Also, that once on base, personnel thought he was a contractor. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Just a day.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Gusty winds from the northwest with periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms, some with heavy downpours. Temperatures will be kind of hanging now in the low 50s much of the afternoon. Tonight, rain and a couple of thunderstorms around. It's colder, 45. Friday, cloudy skies. Another big batch of rain coming in during the afternoon on Friday. 55 degrees and keeping it wet Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's time for a redistribution of wealth.
Mark Cox style, Bernie. $1,000 is on the line. Want to win?
This hour's redistribution of wealth from us to you. Keyword is
Key.
Key.
Yep.
Key, key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Text the word key to 72881 by the end of the hour for the chance to win your $1,000 redistribution of wealth. That's
Key.
Key to 72881. Message and data rates applied. Don't text and drive. This is a national contest.
Come on down to Edwards Carpet Stores.
Edwards Carpet for all your flooring needs, serving St. Louis for 81 years with 4 convenient locations: De Pere, Ellisville, Creve Coeur, St. Charles, or visit us online at edwardscarpet.com.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
NationalRarities.com is the website. When you are looking to sell, you are looking to sell something of value that is in your home, and maybe it's something you've inherited, maybe it's something you found at a sale, maybe it's something you've just had for a long time, and you are ready to see what it's worth and consider trading it in for that value. You want to take it to somebody you can trust. You want to take it to somebody who's an expert, and you want to take it to somebody who has a known history of giving value for these types of items, like gold. Maybe it's sterling silver. Maybe it's diamonds that you have. Maybe it's that old wedding ring that you don't use anymore and you want to get some value for it. Hey, go buy yourself something else that's really nice. Maybe take a nice vacation. Coins and currency, firearms, artwork and paintings, autographs, antique toys, and so many more. Going to National Rarities is not the same as going to a pawn shop. So get that idea out of your head. These are experts. These are professionals. They're going to sit down, have a conversation with you about your item, and give you a fair, honest price. GIA certified buyers, an A+ rating with the BBB. Check their Google reviews out. I know that I did before I ever met them. 888-787-1112. That's 888-787-1112, nationalrarities.com.
You've heard it's a seller's market, and yes, that makes it a great time to sell your home. Hey, it's Mark Cox here, and like every home seller, I want you to sell for the most money with the least stress. That's easy. Just call Gloria Liu with GL International Realty, part of Coldwell Banker Premier Group. Gloria is St. Louis real estate authority with an outstanding team that sells twice as fast for about 3% more money than other realtors. That's about $12,000 more on a $400,000 home. Gloria's unique marketing system showcases your home to her exclusive pool of over 9,000 ready buyers, resulting in increased demand and strong offers. Gloria Liu's sellers love working with her. They gladly refer to friends because they know Gloria guarantees to sell your home at your agreed to price, or she'll buy it herself. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare. Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, prescription drug coverage, prepaid debit card to buy over-the-counter products in store or for home delivery, plus additional credits to buy healthy food at many retailers and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-877-777-6919. That's 1-877-777-6919. Benefits and features vary by plan/area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk, powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Thursday. We've got a full show for you. And the President of the United States signing the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill is taking place right now at the White House. Let's listen in.
In the weeks that this bill has been discussed and debated, it's clear that an overwhelming percentage of the American people, Democrats, independents, or Republican friends, have made it clear, the people out there, made it clear they strongly support the American Rescue Plan. Yesterday, with the final passage of the plan in the House of Representatives, their voices were heard and reflected in everything we have in this bill. And I believe this is, and most people I think do as well, this historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country and giving people in this nation, working people, middle-class folks, people who built the country, a fighting chance. That's what the essence of it is. And I'm going to have a lot more to say about that tonight and the next couple of days and be able to take your questions. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is sign this bill and make the presentation tonight. And then there's going to be plenty of opportunities. We're going to be on the road, not only talking about what I'm talking about tonight is the impact on the virus and how we're going to end this pandemic. And we're going to talk all the elements of the bill beginning Friday, Saturday, and through the week. So thank you for being here.
So the president right now from the White House signing the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. And this is it. Then he's going to get up and walk out. Kamala Harris was there over his right shoulder, as she always is, just in case she needs to step in, I think. I don't know. Vice President Pence was always there too. Isn't it? It's funny how you see things and you see them a certain way and then you're like, okay, maybe this is just how things are done. But you're watching Joe Biden go through the motions. That was probably better, short and sweet, just to get in there and sign the bill and move along. He's going to give a presidential primetime address tonight. I'll read here from CNN. President Joe Biden is expected to deliver his first primetime address from the White House on Thursday night to commemorate the anniversary of the COVID-19 shutdown. It's kind of a weird thing to commemorate. Like maybe we're right at 100 million vaccines. Mm-hmm. Commemorate 100 million vaccines. Like you can acknowledge something that's maybe less savory, but commemorate something that is good. But I guess if you had to commemorate 100 million vaccines, you'd have to know that 100 million vaccines took place and you just signed the COVID relief bill this afternoon.
Yeah, you'd have to give some credit where you don't want to give credit.
The address is scheduled to air live at 7:00 tonight. Biden says he plans to talk about the next steps to address the pandemic. Sounds expensive. Tomorrow night, I'm going to deliver a primetime address to the American people and talk about what we've been through as a nation this past year. But more importantly, I'm going to talk about what comes next. I'm going to launch the next phase of the COVID response and explain what we will do as a government. Stand by, an ad just popped up. And what we will ask of the American people. Even more offensive, it was an ad for CNN. So 7 p.m. tonight. I anticipate probably going. Oh man, I hate to commit to this because I'll be tired and cranky and crabby and feeling extra pregnant right around then. But maybe I'll go live tonight on YouTube.
I can't believe this is the first time he's going to be addressing the nation in this capacity in 2 months. That seems wild to me. I feel like by now we are used to hearing from the president every day, whether that be Twitter, which I know a lot of people
all day,
every day. We are so used to that. Does it feel any different for either one of you? Because it definitely does to me.
I was thinking just this morning, going through some of the stories that are out there, specifically about what we started the show off with, about how there's, I think the number in my head is 650 billion. It might be million, but at this point, I don't even think they know. Dollars in this COVID relief bill that are going to push equity in farming in this country. And it's like, this is something that would not, if Donald Trump were tweeting right now, this would not get anywhere near the mainstream conversation. We would not know that there was, stand by. The relief package includes an estimated $4 billion, to pay up to 120% of Black, Hispanic, Asian, or Native American farmers' outstanding debt as of January 1st. What? In a COVID relief bill. I mean, this is just one of the many things. I mean, $4 billion and a $1.9 trillion. This is the coin you throw into the wishing well when you're at the carnival. This is a small amount of money, comparatively speaking, to this massive spending bill. And if Donald Trump had Twitter right now, if Donald Trump had Facebook, if Donald Trump had YouTube, he would be out there sucking the oxygen out of the room. They're making him more powerful by keeping him quiet. They're making people miss him because absence makes the heart grow fonder. The idea that Trump isn't out there every second of the day with access to tell you what his thoughts are, to throw criticism out there right now. People are looking at what the Biden administration is doing, and those people who couldn't stomach a vote for Donald Trump, I'm not saying that they could in 2024, and I'm not saying that I necessarily want him to be the nominee. I just want to win. The people who have Trump derangement syndrome, who maybe aren't far leftist Democrats, don't have the luxury of being obsessed with his every move right now. And it's putting the focus on the Biden administration. I think that's a good thing. I don't think that it's good that they censored him. I wish he could censor himself. He doesn't. It's not going to happen. Don't ask for it to happen. It won't happen. But with his presence gone, some of these things are being talked about, and people are asking, really considering if this alternative was worth it. I'll be interested to see what President Biden has to say here tonight, and I think that it's going to be interesting to hear his presentation. Do we have Tyrus?
Yeah, we sure do.
Oh, let's get to him. Sorry,
You're
Tyrus.
becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Fox Nation host of Enough Said and Fox News contributor hanging on the line here, just listening to me ramble. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were there at the moment. Tyrus, what do you expect to hear from Joe Biden tonight? Big address, first primetime address for the president.
First of all, that was extremely well put. I couldn't have put that any better myself. We made an amazing point with, I think the word is buyer's remorse. I think with what we're seeing with immigration and several other things like that, we're definitely in the middle of buyer's remorse. And Trump not being on the TV anymore has really, what should have been, we should all be celebrating all these great moves. We're not. And we're being forced to look at what happens when you make deals and not plans. And that's what the Democrats did. They did a deal with team up with Biden to get Trump out, and now they got it. It looks like they have no clue what's going on.
When you look at this COVID relief bill, and a very small fraction of it is actually going to help people in light of COVID, how do you feel about 90% of this $1.9 trillion going to things that the Democrats think are super important, but not important enough to put out there in their own bill to be debated, to be discussed in public for the merit of what they are? We've got to never let a good crisis go to waste here.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we're seeing here. President Trump, the big thing was he lied, and even when he lied, he kind of told the truth. Now we're back to they're not going to come right out because they don't say it in a press conference. They just lie to you and just do everything behind your back. And the biggest issue we're having with President Trump being out of the limelight, the transparency of the White House is gone. We are no longer in a glass house in D.C. The blinds are up. Literally, it's boarded up. And everything is back to being between us. And we only tell them what we think they need to hear, which has really been the Democratic way. And we're seeing like this huge bill. If it was all about the people, then there should have been nothing else on the bill but relief for people suffering from unemployment. And so here's the thing. Our economy is ready to get going. So the stimulus package actually hurts our economy. It's not helping it.
Yeah.
It's like it's not teaching anyone to fish. We're just dumping a bunch of carp on your front doorstep, and if you don't eat it all at once, it's bad. I mean, that's literally what the Democratic Party is doing. Instead of giving us the real information that we need to know, is that stay the course, this is what's happening, and although we can't open up your homes, we've opened up the borders. But it's the hypocrisy is crazy because we have a three-party system running the White House right now. You have progressive, moderates, and socialists all fighting over every bit that they can possibly get, all the while forgetting what their whole point was of running for office and to make change was to give the American people back to their country, so to speak, and to create jobs and do all these wonderful things, and the big, bad, evil tyrant is gone. And now we're seeing it's the same wolf. It's just this one just does everything in the dark.
Yeah.
So they miss President Trump because they can't blame him anymore.
Tyrus, I think you could really do the country a service by making that illustration by dumping carp on people's porches, and just when they are like, what is going on here, you explain it to them, and maybe they will understand it more than they did before. I think that's a good plan.
Because that's literally what we're doing. We're dumping here's some money. But it's not when the economy is coming up and we're only digging the biggest debt that, I mean, honestly, my kids, when they're in their 40s and their 30s, and if we're lucky enough or whatever, the type of deficits that we're going to be looking at is just nuts because we're not, it sounds good, but that much amount of money and so little of it's not going to where it needs to go. And it's unbelievable. It's because it didn't come with a tweet from Trump. They miss him. They miss him a lot because they're going to have to deal with the ramifications of their poor policy. And they're so quick to get rid of everything he did. And I had the same criticism of President Trump when he came into office with his executive orders. And, I hope the administration isn't all about we have to get rid of everything that President Barack Obama did, whether you agree or not. When you get into that, and then he did some things, but for the most part, some things remained, and there was at least a certain this works, this doesn't work. We can work on this. We don't have to publicly like this, but we'll leave it alone. Whereas the Biden thing is everything he did needs to be undone, and we're seeing the best ramification of how is this first 100 days going for President Biden. Just take a look at the border.
So true.
And on the other side of it, they know it, and that's why they're coming full because they know it's back to good old catch for a day, fill out this paperwork. Here's your court date. See you in 20 years. And by that time, they're grandparents.
We'll see if he mentions any of that in his speech tonight. Tyrus got to you a little late as he was signing that bill today, but we'll be watching for sure.
It'll be short.
if that would be what would be best for Biden, I think. Good to talk to you, Tyrus. Hope you have a good week.
You too.
Talk to you soon. Fox Nation host of Nuff Said, Fox News contributor. You see him all across Fox News, and I always love how he just cuts straight to the chase, gives you the point right up front. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Senator Blunt is going to join us. We're going to talk to him about his announced retirement. And if you have questions for Senator Blunt that you would like to maybe see if we can work some of them into the interview, I would love for you to comment them on the Annie Fry YouTube channel or the Annie Fry Show Facebook page. Go into the live chat there and leave your comment, and we'll see if we get any of them in the interview. Senator Roy Blunt with us when we return.
But I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show.
Walking with my feet 10 feet off a
Find the
field.
podcast, on-demand audio,
Walking
and
in
more at
Memphis.
971talk.com/Annie.
But do I really feel the way I feel?
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11. The Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss it.
Cassin's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, just about 2 miles north on 159 off of 270. It's super easy to get to wherever you're at on the Illinois side. And if you just hop on 270 and you head over to Illinois, it is extremely simple to get to from the Missouri side. When you buy a car at Cassin's, when you shop for a car at Cassin's, you are going to talk with an expert salesman, somebody who understands the vehicles that they have on their lot and also can understand how to pair you with the one that you're looking for. You come in with an idea of what you want, your family, the needs that you need to suit, or maybe it's a fun joy car for you, like a Jeep, which now is a great time because there's a Jeep celebration event taking place at Cassin's at this moment. Maybe it's that truck. It's finally time to get yourself a brand new Ram truck. And so you go to Cassin's because right now it's also Ram Truck Month. Reach out to them online at cassinscan.com. See the inventory that they have right now, but partner yourself with one of the most experienced sales staff in the bi-state regions. At Cassin's, they are the very best. My personal experience endorsing that. I've bought multiple cars from them because they're very good at what they do, and I trust them. Visit them online at cassinscan.com.
Is your vision of home not turning out quite the way you planned it? Let the experts at CertaPro Painters paint you a more colorful view. Get a free estimate today and let CertaPro Painters create your new dream space. Listening, prepping, and painting every wall while handling every detail worry-free. Times may have changed, but our trusted service and expertise remains the same. To get your painting project started, go to CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Wedding planning can be overwhelming, but getting your wedding bands doesn't have to be. Come to Shane Company and we'll make it easy. Our jewelry consultants are pros at this. They'll help you find a wedding band that'll pair perfectly with your engagement ring. With the largest selection in town, you'll have lots of beautiful options. We have hundreds of unique bands for women in white gold, yellow gold, rose gold, and platinum. Browse a range of styles like romantic infinity, elegant floral, trending contour, and sparkling channel set. For men, in addition to classic gold and platinum, we also have contemporary metals, titanium, cobalt, tantalum, and more, with options to customize your band. Drop by a store or set up a virtual or an in-store appointment with a jewelry consultant in advance. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc. from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing.
Okay.
At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a record low 1.875%. Visit goldenOakLending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 1.875% fixed, 2.913% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit. 111 Westport Plaza, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment. Do you have a warm heart and a caring soul? Are you really devoted to being able to help others? Give us a call at Comfort Care 314-965-9600. Let us help you turn your dreams into reality as you help our friends, our families, and our clients live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Is this just an illusion?
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for joining us on a kind of a rainy, springy kind of Thursday afternoon. I, for one, welcome it. Hope you're enjoying your afternoon. I want to get straight to our guest. Senator Roy Blunt joins us now, who has just announced his retirement. Senator Blunt, thank you for your service in the Senate and to Missouri, and just wanted to give you an opportunity to give us a little explanation as to why you made the decision now. What is it about Washington, D.C. that made you say, okay, I've had enough?
Well, I've been here a while, and I'm sure many Missourians think I've been here plenty long enough, but I think it's going to be a good year, frankly, for Republicans in our state. I think it would have been a good year if I would have run again. I think it'll be a good year for a Republican to follow me in this job. And frankly, that's part of it. If you've been in the Congress and in the leadership in the Congress as long as I have, that's something you should think about. And, I'll have been here 26 years by the time I finish this term, and we've got almost two full years left here to finish is strong in my view. I'm decided I'm 71. I didn't want to spend my 70s in the Congress. I don't necessarily want to spend my 70s not working either, but I'm looking forward to whatever comes next with no immediate interest in figuring out what that is. I'm going to be as focused as I can be the next 2 years to do the things that we've worked on, to have conservative principles in the government, to make priorities of things like healthcare research and mental health equity, and defending the country first is the number one priority of the federal government, but also what we can do to be sure that people have more information earlier about the kind of jobs that are out there, and are thinking earlier in their, maybe even in junior high, what kind of jobs are there? What would I like to do? What would I find fulfilling? I think too many people now get caught in that gap where it takes them about 10 years, they never get back to figure out what it is they really want to do, because nobody's really talked to them about what's really out there to do. So I think it's going to be an exciting 2 years. And I think the Democrats are really overplaying their hand. There's no mandate here. The Senate's as close as it could possibly be. The House has the smallest Democratic majority since 1870. If Democrats want to act like they've got a mandate to govern, I think they'll find out on Election Day in 2 years that they didn't have a mandate to govern, and really didn't understand that the American people wanted us to think carefully about moving into these big areas of change like Democrats have in this huge bill that they just passed, or the election bill that they have just sent over from the House to try to take responsibility for elections away from the state and local government and turn it all over to the federal government. I just think they're not reading the message that the American people tried to send to them and to the country on Election Day this time. So I suspect they'll send it again next time.
Senator Blunt joining us right now on the Annie Frey Show. Very glad to have you here. You talk about government being about as divided as it can possibly be, yet every inch that it tilts in the Democrats' favor right now. The House of Representatives, the Senate, the office of the executive, as well as President Biden. They can get a lot done right now with the minimal power that they have. And, with that division existing, we hear President Biden saying he wants unity. I don't see a lot of effort to get that unity. But in 2 years' time, in 2022, if the Republicans don't have unity, that Democratic majority will expand. Do you think that the Republican Party has a unifying message now, or is it something that needs to grow between now and 2022?
It needs to grow, but the Democrats will help us grow that message. Our greatest asset is always them. They overreach just like they did in the Obama administration. 2009 seemed a lot better for Democrats than 2021 does today, but by 2010, all of those things have turned dramatically in the other direction. The bill that I think the president intends to sign tomorrow, this $2 trillion unpaid for supposedly COVID relief bill, doesn't do that at all. Now, initially, it's pretty popular, Annie, because almost every family in Missouri will get a check, and who doesn't like that? But once those checks are cashed, every family in Missouri is going to think, well, now, wait a minute, people who weren't legally in the country, in many cases, got this check. If they were people who overstayed their visa, and that's about 60% of the people not here legally, they've got a Social Security number, they probably got a check. If many people who are incarcerated will get that same check, just on that front alone, let alone the beginning to figure out that our state didn't get nearly a fair share of the money that went to state and state governments, because it's very much skewed in favor of California and New York. And this is going to be a very unpopular bill. That'll be something Republicans will have a chance to talk about. And we are, again, in 2009, there were 40 Republican United States senators, not 50. The Democrats lost seats in the House of Representatives, even though they predicted they were going to gain 15. They lost about a dozen seats. They were working hard all over the country with the leadership of President Obama's attorney general to take over state legislatures. It happened exactly 0 times. There's a net gain of 1 state legislature for Republicans in the country. In our state, we didn't lose a single incumbent House member or Senate member that ran again for the General Assembly. I think the underlying foundation of our party is very strong. We just have to be better at explaining now what difference it made when you had President Trump with the regulatory authority. The tax policy was good in growing the economy. I think the president's use of the regulatory policy was even more important. And truth is, President Biden's turned a lot of that around already. But it'll give us something important to talk about as we see the impact of those bad regulations on utility bills and other things, as opposed to where the country was headed a year ago, right before the outbreak of COVID-19. And so I feel good about the future of the party, particularly in Missouri, and particularly as it relates to this Senate seat, and look forward to what I can do the next 2 years to legislatively look for ways to do better things and look for ways to fight bad things, and there'll be both of those to do.
Senator Blunt, as you mentioned, the U.S. Senate right now is 50-50 split. So a lot on the line in 2022, and you, of course, are not going to be running again. How much did you think about what that seat, what the future of that seat will hold in terms of what it means to the U.S. Senate, and how much did that impact your decision?
Well, I think that's part of the decision. And just like Kit Bond in 2009 decided, looks like 2010 is going to be a pretty good year. This is a good time to create an opportunity for someone else to come to the Senate that's likely to be a Republican, and that turned out to be me. I think some of those same factors are in play in 2022. The next time this seat will be up will be in a presidential election year. That's never quite as certain for us in our state as the opportunity. We really don't have, Ryan, that many open Senate seats. I think in 30 years there have been 2 open Senate seats, and John Ashcroft won one of them in 96, and I won the other one in 2010. And I think this is going to be a good year for a Republican Senate candidate in our state. Probably could have been anyway, but I think particularly will be as Democrats overreach and begin to make Americans and Missourians think we've got to once again return some balance back to this government to fight bad regulations and bad legislation.
Senator Blunt joining us right now, real quick before we have to let you go. The Biden plan so far has been very progressive. The moderate tone that he was kind of pitched as in the primary, the way he has governed so far has been very, very progressive. We've seen the COVID bill get through with no Republican support, and a simple majority vote in favor of it passed it. There are some other pieces of legislation that are coming your way soon, and they're going to require a stronger vote in the Senate or the filibuster to go away. Do you have confidence right now that filibuster is going to remain intact, or do you fear that we will see a rapid fire of legislation come through if that filibuster gets removed?
Well, removing the filibuster would be a tragedy for the Senate and the country, in my view. The election bill that they're proposing that's passed the House already is just full of things that would help Democrats and hurt Republican candidates, public financing of campaigns, taking redistricting away from state legislatures, even though the Constitution gives it to state legislatures. There's a long list there. We'd talk about the potential for a couple of new states that would almost certainly have Democrat senators coming into the union if the filibuster goes away. But mostly, what you have here is you lose the character of the Senate as the place where you at least have to think about things for American voters to get an election or two to really say, do we want to make this kind of a drastic change? It'll be a fight because the 2 issues I just mentioned are totally political, totally about the long-term advantage it would give one party over the other. And a couple of Democrats now that are standing pretty strong on this principle of we can't destroy the Senate by making these changes are going to be under a lot of pressure. But, Annie, I was on your program a number of times. I think you always got the problem of doing this where people would call in or would have been saying, well, why don't you just change the rules and do whatever you want to do? And of course, now those same people are saying, my gosh, I hope they don't change those rules and force these bad policies down our throats. So I think we can fight this off 2 years. We'll be in control of either the House or the Senate, and maybe both. But it's an important 2-year fight. And I think the Democrats don't intend to make the mistake they made under Obama, which is not going totally for broke in that first 2 years. And you can see that happening right now. And this ability of 51 people, 50 senators and the vice president to do whatever they want to do certainly isn't what a lot of Missouri Republicans thought it was 2 years ago. And, we didn't do it. I think that was the right decision. I think the right decision now is to do everything we can to encourage enough Democrats to stick with us that they don't do it either, and then get control of the Congress back and in 2024 do our job again in the presidential election.
Yeah, with that simple majority in the Senate, half of America doesn't even recognize the country. And if to the flip side, as you said, in a Trump administration with 2 years of all Republican control, it would have felt the same on the other side. Lots of people here commenting on our live chat, thanking you for your time, your service, and looking forward to watching you for the next 2 years fight for Missourians as we look to replace your seat with another strong Republican from Missouri. Senator Blunt.
Great to be with you. Look forward to being in the studio, hopefully more this year than this last
wonderful.
year, which has been so strange. But thanks for what you do every day. And it's always a pleasure to be on with you this way, but look forward to being there again in person before too long.
Thank you so much, Senator Blunt. Good to speak with you. We'll talk to you again soon. That's Senator Blunt there, at Roy Blunt. So the funny story about his Twitter, he was on with us maybe in mid-December, I believe it was. And he tweeted out something about great to be on the Annie Fry show. That was his tweet. But then he doesn't tweet a lot. You can go follow him at Roy Blunt. But he doesn't tweet a lot. Like, he didn't tweet for 2 months. So anytime anyone had something they wanted to say to Roy Blunt, they replied to that tweet. And I got included in it. And I'm like, who are these people yelling? Oh, they're just yelling at Senator Blunt again. I see. It's like an industry of these people who just go, to senator to senator to senator to say the craziest things. And I just think, man, this is really putting yourself out there. And I don't know that I signed up for it. So I had to mute.
You should have fought every single one of them
Oh
and said,
my gosh.
hang on, Senator
Totally
Blunt,
that's totally my Twitter style. My Twitter style is say nice things to people, get attacked, and then I'm like, wow, it's lovely to meet you. Mute. And then I move on with my life. And there are people who are screaming at me on Twitter right now, and I have no clue. It's true. Ignorance is truly blissful. Quick break. When we come back, a little reaction to what Senator Blunt had to say there. Interested to hear what you folks think about it. Comment on the Facebook Live, the Annie Fry Show YouTube page as well. A lot of you folks saying good things about Senator Blunt. And I was happy to see that. And a lot of people are ready to see a change there too. Now you have the opportunity. Who's it going to be? Let us know who you think. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign up your veteran for their Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. For free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Don't hate, don't final, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When it's time to sell your house, when it's time to buy a house, you want to make sure that you have an expert who's going to be hustling their tail off for you. You need to be at the center of this experience because your wants and needs are going to be different than everybody else's. So you want to make sure that you have that personal touch, that personal experience with the realtor that you're going to work with, somebody who's going to listen to you. That person is Christy Monsheen. That person is JT Monsheen. These are the #1 agents for Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate since 2005. I've met Christy and JT. These are very good people. And when I tell you that you can trust Christy and JT, I want you to know that you can trust them with the sale of your home. You can trust them to find you that home that you're looking for, that dream home. They have a professionalism that goes beyond the sale. They care about the integrity of their relationship with you that's going to result in a very, very satisfied customer so that the next time you go through this process, or more likely your friends and family who go through this process, you are going to sing the rave reviews about Christy and JT Monsheen. And that's how it works for them. They're very good at what they do. They're very good people, and they are waiting your phone call. 636-537-8288. That's 636-537-8288. Call my friends at the Monsheen team online at themonsheenteam.com.
Spring is finally here, and you deserve an upgrade. There's no better way to upgrade than with a new Hyundai filled with all the latest technology, including the digital smartphone key. Save big on all our Hyundai models and get the upgrade you deserve only at the Hyundai Spring Upgrade event.
Sign and drive today and enjoy 0 down payment, 0 first payment, and 0 security deposit on the Tucson, Kona, or Sonata. See your local Hyundai dealer today. Offers end March 31st, 2021. Call 224-661-0068 for details.
Can you tell the difference between real wood and wood lookalikes?
To help decide, compare hundreds of floors installed side by side at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Wood floors can help sell homes faster and increase home values 3 to 5% more.
Now, save $500 off the finest Canadian hardwood floors made in North America by Mirage or Mercier Floors.
See the world's finest hardwood floors in solid and engineered planks up to 8 inches wide.
And save $500 plus up to 24 months free financing.
Experience more at Ambassador
Midwest Floor.
The Tim Jones Show.
Zach Smith, legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation.
There's a lot of noise about abolishing the filibuster. The hope is that a lot of these troubling provisions, they won't be able to meet that 60-vote threshold.
Sunday nights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
Welcome back to the Andy Fry Show. Just got done speaking with Senator Blunt. Interesting conversation there that we had with him. He talked when I asked him if he felt that the filibuster was going to stay intact. You'll notice he explained how important it is that it does, which was not a yes. So I've read Joe Manchin's cracking a little bit on that issue, and boy, hold on tight if that's the case. I don't know how many people are the news that Senator Blunt is retiring obviously begs the question, who's going to take his place? But I mean, it's March of 2020. There's a lot of time for a lot of things to take place. I guess there's just a lot of people feeling it out right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was glad to hear that he kind of decided that this is a good year for the party, because obviously personally, I'm sure he's thinking of himself and, his life, but this is going to be a good year for Republicans in the Senate is kind of what he was saying. So I like that he was thinking bigger picture in terms of the balance of power in Washington too.
Yeah, I would hope so. I also think it's important to think about Roy Blunt, would you say he's kind of more of an establishment type of a leader? People, it's funny how people criticize Josh Hawley, and it's funny how people criticize Roy Blunt, because there's massive criticism for both of them, but for completely different reasons. But really the reason they're being criticized is because they're Republicans. And I got to tell you, a reminder, I come from the land of Lincoln, where we have Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth. Give me 2 Roy Blunts today, and I am thrilled at that prospect. I mean, oh, Missouri, you've got it so good. I see the discussions. I see the names that are being thrown around right now. It's dramatic, and everybody likes drama. No, nerds like the drama. We like the drama. We're the nerds. But at this point in time, I just think I like to hear that he's being committed to the next 2 years, because these are going to be 2 white knuckle years. And if that filibuster goes away, which if you're holding your breath expecting it not to go away, I'm going to break some bad news to you. It very well could go away. And if it does, we are going to be in for a world of hurt with what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Joe Biden can do together. Katie, do people pay?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brian.
Would you be opposed to the filibuster changing at all? Like if it right now they can just say we're filibustering and it's kind of done. Joe Manchin mentioned that they might.
Well, no, I
change
mean
it
they
to
still have
where-
closure and everything that can stop it. It's not over. That you can still end filibuster.
But if they had to actually debate, they had to stand up there and actually talk it out the whole time they were filibustering, would you be opposed to a change like that?
Yeah, because that's not the point. The point is to suck up time, is to slow the process down, is to give power to a minority. That is the point, that we are not supposed to be subjected to the tyranny of the majority. And just as Senator Blunt said, that it's not supposed to move fast in the Senate. And in the Senate, you're supposed to consider, it's not massive party rule. That's why it's not a majority rule. It's why most of these votes take 60 votes to pass. It's why the difference between the COVID bill is because it went through a process called reconciliation, and it's a different process because it's a spending bill as opposed to a policy bill. I am massively opposed to the idea that we do anything to diminish the authority, which is minimal, that is already given to the minority. Katie, do you feel like in your world, when you're talking politics with your friends, are they interested in the people who are involved in politics? Are they interested in the policy? Does the Senate race in the state of Missouri get too far out into nerddom for them to be like, well, this is who I think should run in the primary?
A lot of people are starting to open their eyes to even local politics right now, which I have to give credit to 2016 to Hillary and Trump running. I think that presidential race sparked so much interest in politics in general that I see a lot of people in Missouri, a lot of my friends, and a lot of young liberals and young Republicans going out and saying, you know what, these national races are super, super important, like the Senate race. But we also have to remember that very local races are just as important, if not more.
Are they interested in getting involved? Or just
no
voting?
I think just voting. I think reading up on the people that they like, reading up on the people that they don't like, and then voting whenever it comes to that time. But I don't hear many people talking. Maybe because this is new news of this week that Blunt is not going to be running again. But there's a lot of people that I don't see on social media talking about like, oh, okay, now that Blunt isn't running, like, who do you guys predict? Who are you guys thinking that's going to start?
You don't see it?
No, I don't see that. Mm-mm.
Taylor on Facebook says, oh my gosh, Annie, I agree. I'll take 2 Roy Blunts any day. We have family in Missouri that hate Josh Hawley, and I just want to say send them our way.
I'm excited to see who's going to run. I'm excited to see who Missouri has to offer.
You got a horse to pick?
No, I don't. I'm waiting. I'm going to wait because I think that there will be a lot of people that are not politicians that will choose to put their hat in. They want to be involved in politics because they see the way that this is going. So I'm excited for that. I want to see the outsiders and what they have to offer.
Reminder in the state of Illinois that Tammy Duckworth's seat is up here in 2022 as well. And it would be nice. Dick Durbin's was up in 2020. And, it's frustrating in the state of Illinois because we just assume so much is just going to be. Who's going to challenge Dick Durbin? Are you kidding? Challenge Dick Durbin. Don't even waste your breath. Well, maybe we should waste some breath. Maybe we should invest. Who is the leading Republican in the state of Illinois to take that position? We're so decimated that there isn't a bench to pick from, at least not one that is known statewide. We don't have Republicans serving in our state offices because they don't win. And they don't win because they don't run like they're Republicans. They run like they're moderate Democrats because that's what, I guess, the northeast corner of our state tells the rest of our state what we need to deal with if a Republican is going to have a chance at winning. And I'm like, but you're not winning. You are losing. Can we lose with some integrity? The next election, we can lose all the races that we would normally lose, but maybe we could feel a little good that we lost it because of who we were and not who we sold our souls to be. That's what I would say. So who's going to be the person who runs for Tammy Duckworth's Senate seat? Who are your suggestions, folks? Tell me on our live chat. And I'm meeting with some Illinois Republican folks today after the show, and I'm going to be asking these questions like, do you have a bench? We've got a lot of people throwing their hat in the ring for the governor race. It's a big race, and J.B. Pritzker is so beatable. Let's just fight like the GOP conservatives that we are. And then what if we win? Otherwise, it's just insanity, repeating the same thing and coming up with the same outcome. We're going to talk with FAIR when we come back, FAIR Immigration, about the southern border crisis. Don't go away.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
Lombardo Homes is known for their quality, luxury, and customization in home building. But did you know Lombardo Homes can build on your property? They can. Whether you're interested in a home on acreage or a teardown in St. Louis County, Anywhere Lombardo has the tools and expertise to evaluate your property, recommend floor plans and options, provide pricing, and build a home that best fits your needs on time and on budget. We make building on your lot easy. For more information about Anywhere Lombardo, visit lombardohomes.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del will show you how to retire in 2 to 5 years. Your age doesn't matter. Turn off the pundits and turn on the passive income. Tune in to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
This year, staying home has taken on a whole new meaning. But a new color and a fresh coat of paint changes everything. You can trust CertaPro painters to handle every detail. Listening, prepping, and painting worry-free. Get a free estimate from CertaPro painters today. Times may have changed, but CertaPro painters' local service and expertise remains the same. To get your painting project started, go to CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jewels on Hampton.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group. 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
The check's almost in the mail. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden signing the latest round of COVID relief into law. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal following this live.
Lisa, the president was scheduled to sign the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill tomorrow, but decided to sign it a day early, ahead of tonight's address to the nation, commemorating 1 year since the virus spread became an official pandemic.
It's clear that an overwhelming percentage of the American people, Democrats, independents, or Republican friends, have made it clear, the people out there, made it clear they strongly support the American Rescue Plan.
But the bill, criticized by many in the GOP as a bailout to blue states, passed without any Republican support. One House Democrat from Maine also voted against this bill, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Republicans argue the bill has too much non-COVID spending. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is facing even more pressure to step down after a groping allegation reportedly made by a former aide who declined to press charges, but police now have a complaint anyway. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, according to the governor's acting attorney, Beth Garvey, the alleged victim not wanting to report the incident meant the state reached out to police and Garvey was their point of contact. The accuser, who has not been named, said Cuomo groped her at the governor's mansion last year. This and other harassment allegations have led more than 100 state lawmakers to call for Cuomo's resignation. The governor continues to deny inappropriate contact with any of his accusers and says he will not step down. The state attorney general's investigation is continuing, Lisa.
Gernal. Two more cabinet nominees are headed for confirmation votes. Javier Becerra for Health Secretary, Deb Haaland as Interior Secretary, both clearing procedural hurdles today, with some key lawmakers who had been opposed signaling support. America is listening to Fox News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Gusty winds from the northwest with periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms, some with heavy downpours. Temperatures will be kind of hanging now in the low 50s much of the afternoon. Tonight, rain and a couple of thunderstorms around. It's colder, 45. Friday, cloudy skies. Another big batch of rain coming in during the afternoon on Friday. 55 degrees and keeping it wet Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's time for a redistribution of wealth.
Mark Cox style, Bernie. $1,000 is on the line. Want to win?
This hour's keyword is
rock. R-O-C-K.
Text the word rock to 72881 by the end of the hour for the chance to win your $1,000 redistribution of wealth from Mark Cox. That's
rock.
Rock to 72881. Message and data rates apply. Don't text and drive. This is a national contest.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Remember, customize and save with Liberty Mutual Insurance Company. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. That's libertymutual.com.
Hi, Chad Hansen with Hansen's Tree Service. Spring is here, and if your trees are looking sick or if you have insects that aren't welcome in your landscape, Hansen's can help. Our plant healthcare program offers tree and shrub fertilization as well as pest management to maintain a great-looking landscape. Check us out at hansonstree.com.
One of the things that Rudy Beck and Jay Lennox have done at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law is work overtime to make sure that you have all of the information at your fingertips so that you can make educated decisions about your estate planning, about elder law concerns, about long-term care planning. These are all extremely important issues that oftentimes we don't think about until we get really close to them. A great friend has a family member that has to go through it, or maybe you experience it with your own parent. Rudy Beck and Jay Lennox of Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law have created a new webinar on that topic, and you can go to the seminars tab on their website at beckelderlaw.com. It's under the resources tab, and you can find a class and get registered. Rudy's going to give you several real client stories to illustrate common concerns that many people have that are going to be very similar to yours. And at the end of the webinar, it's less than a half hour long. You're going to be offered the opportunity to schedule a free book a call with one of their attorneys. Go online to their website today. Again, those seminars can be found under the resources tab. You'll see a seminars tab, and right there, you're going to be able to get signed up. beckelderlaw.com.
The spirit of community is alive and well here. The beautiful grounds, the wonderful food. It's the home I've always wanted. The community I've always dreamed of. Those aren't my words. Those are the words of current residents of the Gatesworth, the St. Louis region's exceptional senior living community. And their words say it all. The Gatesworth is now welcoming new residents and would love to get to know you. Call 314-993-0111 or visit them online at thegatesworth.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my good friends, and they are my good friends, George and Mike, the owners of ThrottleNet, the IT place. Let me right out of the chute give you throttlenet.com/971 because I really think you're going to want to go at least check out the website. Here's the deal. They do comprehensive IT. They do everything from protection, from ransomware and phishing schemes, which, by the way, have gotten so much worse since most of our workers are working from home. It's so much easier to infiltrate your company through a home computer. We take care of all of that. We maximize your profits and we minimize your expenses through IT. The industry standard in St. Louis is 3 hours from the time you contact your IT provider and say, I've got a problem. It takes them 3 hours to get back to you. In 2020, the average for ThrottleNet was 1 minute and 57 seconds. I think that says a lot. We have continuing webinars going on. Check them all out at throttlenet.com/971.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Where the world, the country, and the community converge. On the air or online. With your smart speaker or the radio.com app. 97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair. The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Of course, I think there is a problem at the border. I don't know how to describe it. There's a problem at the border over the last several administrations, Judge, Republican and Democrat. Biden's trying to deal with it. Just as you said, I think he's trying to deal with it in terms of legal process. So he's trying to move away from a militaristic approach or a cruel policy approach of separating families from children. Biden is looking to the courts. He's looking to the asylum process. He wants to get things moving quickly. But nobody is coming in. The border is not open.
Sounds like Judge Janine really needed to get in there and get something off of her chest. Yep. And it didn't, it's kind of like that Midwestern thing where we go, yeah, no, or no, yeah. Yep. I don't think yet meant keep preaching, Juan Williams. Juan there says that there is a crisis at the border, but he doesn't know how to describe it. I have a feeling that Fair Immigration's media director, Ira Mehlman, can probably give us a description of the crisis that does exist at our border. Ira, thank you for joining the show. What is the crisis? What does it look like? What are we not identifying right now through the media and our politicians?
Well, the crisis is one that was created by this administration. They have sent signals. They have introduced policies that make it clear to people that if you get to the border, we're going to let you in. And it doesn't matter how many times you have the Secretary of Homeland Security or yesterday his advisor for the southern border saying, well, don't come now. It's really not open. Don't believe what you're hearing. They're seeing what's going on. They are seeing that people are coming to the border. They're being allowed in. They're being released, sometimes even after testing positive for COVID. It has gotten so bad that the president of Mexico is telling President Biden to cool it. There is clearly a crisis, whether the administration chooses to acknowledge it or not. And it is harmful to the people in this country, and it is also harmful to people in other countries.
Ira Mehlman is FAIR's media director. What do the next 4 years look like? I mean, we're into this 2 months, and we're seeing it already develop into this big crisis. How does this end? I mean, what does this look like going forward?
Well, the administration is going to have to come to the realization that the American public isn't going to stand for this. He is getting blowback now, even from members of his own party. If you look at the Democrats in the Texas congressional delegation, they are telling him to stop it. If you talk to the mayors of some of those border communities, nearly all of whom are Democrats, they are telling him to stop it. So, it's at some point, we hope that the White House has to listen to the people who are telling them this is a devastating crisis. It is one that you, Mr. President, are creating all by yourself. Otherwise, there is going to be significant blowback from some of these local officials and from other people around the country who are saying we simply cannot tolerate open borders at the same time that we're dealing with the COVID crisis, with an economic crisis. We're spending trillions of dollars to try and keep this economy afloat. You just cannot heap crisis on top of crisis and expect that the country is going to just let you do it.
So, Ira, so much of the immigration issue, depending on which side of the political aisle the discussion is being had, is based on emotion versus just straight up facts. Juan Williams there is saying that Joe Biden's administration is moving away from the cruel policies of the previous administration. What are those cruel policies, and how is what the Biden administration is doing right now less cruel?
Well, first of all, what he is calling the cruel policies are policies that Joe Biden voted for when he was in the Senate for, 40 years or however long he was there. He voted for every one of these laws that he is now saying are cruel and we shouldn't have them in place. In fact, those laws are there to protect the interests of the American people, number one, but also to protect the interests of people who are making this life-threatening journey at the hands of criminal cartels who smuggle them to the border. This is not good for anybody at this point. Juan Williams and Joe Biden can deny it all they want, but we have an actual crisis going on at the border. We are seeing record numbers of people coming across that border, record numbers of unaccompanied children. The president has been forced to reopen some of these centers where they detain the children because they've got no place to put them. You can't just turn kids out onto the streets, that they have to be put somewhere. So he has reopened what they used to call cages, which were never cages in the first place. But he's doing a lot of the things that the previous administration did, at the same time that he's creating even more problems for himself and the country.
Ira, what kind of a position does this put us in with our allies, with countries like Mexico and Latin America? Are they okay with this? Do they have to deal with bigger problems when we have bigger problems? How does that work?
No, first of all, the administration tore up the agreements that we had with Mexico, the Northern Triangle countries in Central America. Just the other day, Mexico said to the president of the United States, it is harmful to my country. We have the criminal cartels that we're trying to deal with. The criminal cartels are running rampant in Mexico. We're making them even stronger. This is business for them. They are getting richer. They're getting more well armed. It's a threat to the Mexican government. And as I said, when the president of Mexico is telling you to cool it, you know you got a problem.
That's for sure. We're speaking with Ira Mehlman, who is the media director for Fair Immigration. There's been a lot of concerns, a lot of questions surrounding who's making the immigration policy for this administration. When observations are made at the southern border, is the president being briefed about it? Is the president the one leading on this issue? Where do you see guidance and leadership right now coming out of this Biden White House?
Well, first of all, the buck stops with the president, but he has basically ceded this policy to the radical wing of his party. This is their pet issue. They want to throw the borders open. They want to flood the country with migrants, and he is simply allowing them to do it. So, he may not be the one who is writing the bills and creating all these policies, but he is the one who's approving them and saying, go ahead and implement them. So that it's his responsibility. He is the president. We have to hold him accountable.
So when I see, a flood of people coming towards the southern border and they're wearing T-shirts that have Biden's name on it, where does A, that organization come from? And B, who provides those T-shirts for these individuals to be sending a very clear message that they believe that they will be given admittance into this country because they think that Joe Biden will do so?
Well, precisely the people who have been advising the president and creating these policies and writing these bills that he's introducing into Congress. This is an organized coalition of groups, both on our side of the border in Mexico and Central America, that have been trying for years to just blow the doors off of our country and open this country up to unlimited immigration. They are working on this. They are organizing the caravans that we're seeing coming. The T-shirts is just one more perk, I guess, that they provide for the people that they are using to advance their own political aims. And let's be very clear. These are groups that are promoting their own political aims first and foremost. The migrants really are tools to achieve that end.
Yeah. Well, Ira Mehlman, we look forward to talking to you again on these issues because it seems as though the problem is going to get worse before it possibly gets better. And we know that Fair Immigration is doing a lot of work to bring these issues to the forefront for people to understand better.
Thanks very much.
Of course. That's Ira Mehlman with Fair Immigration, fairus.org. Before we take a break, I want to dip in here to the press conference that took place today. Katie, you've got that sound that you just sent me with Peter Doocy and Jen Psaki. Like this, I guess this is the Kayleigh McEnany, Jim Acosta, just reversed now. Mm-hmm. Talking today about this issue specifically. Let's listen into this exchange because Peter Doocy, he doesn't pull any punches here.
And then in terms of keeping COVID out of the country, does the White House think that it's a problem that travelers have to show a negative COVID test, proof of a negative COVID test when they fly into the U.S. from any foreign country, but travelers don't need to show anything like that when they just walk across the border as long as they don't go to a port of entry?
Well, I think there's been a lot of confusion about what's been happening at the border as it relates to people who are coming across and what happens when they come across. And I know Governor Abbott down in Texas has expressed some of his concerns, and many of those have not been based in fact. So let me go through a few of those because I know we're all interested in facts around here. One, Governor Abbott has referred to what's happening at the border as open borders, as us having an open borders policy. That is absolutely incorrect. The border is not open. The vast majority of individuals apprehended or encountered at the border continue to be denied entry and are returned under Title 42, as we've already mentioned. Also, he has suggested that we are not vaccinating CBP officers. Again, we like to deal with facts around here. There's no higher priority than the health and safety of our federal workforce. And the Department of Homeland Security and CBP has been clear that currently more than 64,000 frontline DHS employees, including members of U.S. Border Patrol, have received a vaccination. So that's another point just to provide full clarity. The other piece is the question about the testing of migrants at the border or testing of migrants as they are coming across. And we have DHS and FEMA have stepped in and worked with local mayors, NGOs, and public health officials in Texas to implement a system to provide COVID-19 testing and, as needed, isolation and quarantine for families released from Border Patrol facilities. Their proposal and agreement would cover 100% of the expense of the testing, isolation, and quarantine. But Governor Abbott has decided to reject that.
So you listen to the way she responds to the question. The question is, look, think about all the things that if you want to fly here, what you have to do to qualify. To get on an airplane, the security you have to go through, the identification that you have to show, the access that has to be granted, that would be granted to you, provided you give all of the required bits and pieces of information to the authorities to make sure that your access is permitted. And in many cases, these people who are coming here, if you listen to Jen Psaki, she says that we are still turning away a lot of people. Well, we have overflow of people right now that we didn't have before. They're talking about putting them in like NASA facilities because we have so many people crossing the southern border right now that we don't have a place for them. And this drastically upticked after Biden became the president. And as I said with Ira Mehlman, with the fair immigration conversation that we just had here, they're wearing Biden t-shirts. These people aren't coming here wearing Trump t-shirts. They're not coming here, indicating that there is a different hope outside of the fact that the administration has changed. And for some reason, that makes them feel that now is the time to make their trek to try to get into this country. There's something obviously different right now. And I will go back to what Jim Carafano says. The reason that this administration is not causing it a crisis is because this is what they wanted. They've created this situation because they want to import votes. Pretty much that simple. And it's a tragedy. We're going to keep talking about it on this show as developments continue to happen and see how this administration and Congress continues to act. Wouldn't it be nice if we started doing, lawmaking in Congress again instead of executive order after executive order after executive order? Wouldn't that be nice? Congress being put to good use. Let's talk to Kevin Wheeler about something else. Anything else? How about sports? When we come back, don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Whether you're an experienced sports bettor or someone who's just starting out, BetQL is here to help us become better bettors. Get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Window World. And let me just take a moment to say thank you to Window World. I'm not sure how many of the 20 years they've been with me, but most of them. They are great people, just great guys, and have been very good to me and taking care of thousands of DGS listeners. So Window World, thank you for the bigger part of 20 years with the DGS. What I love about Window World is the simplicity. Honestly, it's just they make it so easy. There are other replacement window companies in town. We're one of only 2 in the nation that have a good housekeeping seal of approval. Any award that you can win within our industry, we have won. The prices are very modest, very affordable. We give you a lifetime warranty and a lifetime guarantee because we know that our windows are built like a tank. You can depend on saving about 1/3 off your heating and cooling bills 12 months out of the year. Mention me for 18 months, same as cash, 314-993-1800 or windowworld.com, 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan with Community Mortgage. It's a new year and interest rates are still at historic lows. If you have not taken advantage of today's low rates, what are you waiting for? I get calls all the time from people using online and national lenders. They question the fine print, need clarification, and want somebody to talk them through the steps. This is the personal service I offer. Whether you are looking to refinance or purchase, call an experienced local lender. Call me, Michael Mohan, at 314-336-6050. Call today while interest rates are still at historic lows. 314-336-6050. 314-336-6050. Or online at communitymortgagestl.com. When you call, you'll speak to me.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224-143, NMLS 250353.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure is just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with ENT and Sleep Medicine Associates. Call 618-206-5935. 618-206-5935. That's 618-206-5935.
The latest local forecast and severe weather coverage you can count on from the name in St. Louis weather.
This is 97.1's Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
On 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Air Comfort Service.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Glad you're spending a bit of your Thursday afternoon with us. We are grateful that you're here. A reminder that if you want to subscribe to the podcast of the show, all you got to do is go to radio.com. You can download the radio.com app and search Annie Fry Show, and you'll see our podcast available there or wherever you get your podcasts. But if you're new to podcasting, that's where you can go. You can also stream 97.1 FM Talk right there on that app as well. And you get to listen to the whole station all day, every day, wherever you go. Pretty cool little access point there. If you find it hard to get us sometimes, or if you're traveling and you want to take us with you on your travels. Let's get to our guest, Kevin Wheeler, KMOX sports reporter.
Hey! Let's talk a little business of baseball here.
This is a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
There's no crying in baseball.
Cardinals, Blues, and more with sports reporter Kevin Wheeler.
So, Kevin, welcome back to the show. Hope you're doing well. A little spring weather here in St. Louis, but they're still playing baseball down in Jupiter. Any highlights that you think that the people need to know right off the top?
Well, I mean, just at least today, not much in the game. There's no game today, but there was an update a little earlier on Miles Michaelis, which, again, was kind of cautiously optimistic. Mike Schill didn't want to get into too many details. But it sounds like they didn't find anything really structurally wrong with his shoulder, which is great news. So, and we should know more either later today or tomorrow about kind of the extent of what they found, and then we'll have a better idea of how long he's going to be out. But we got that. Jordan Hicks pitched in the game yesterday, so that was positive. He only needed 11 pitches to get 3 guys out. That's pretty special. Jack Flaherty looked better.
Jordan Hicks that we've been hearing a lot about. I mean, we've been be able to see him and Reyes both that we haven't, I guess, been able to see in a full season, fully competing at the level that we hope to see them at.
No, I mean, if these guys can both be out there this year, and we did find out this week that Reyes is going to be in the bullpen this year, but he's not going to be used as a traditional reliever. John Mozeliak was talking about getting him somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 innings. Well, I mean, 100 innings is not, I mean, the guys that pitch a lot in relief are usually around 80, and that's if you pitch a lot. So the idea might be that he's more of a multiple inning guy a couple of times a week, which means he could come in the middle of a game to bail out a starter who's dealing with a rally, or he could maybe just come in later and take 2 or 3 innings at a time and finish the whole stinking thing. So the nice thing will be, for all of us that are fans, for all of us that watch the games, if you could have 6 healthy months from both of those guys, it's a game changer. I mean, those guys are elite. They're, Jordan Hicks before his injury had the best fastball in baseball, had the at least the fastest fastball in baseball. And, it's not likely that he's going to lose any of that coming back. Because keep in mind, he was throwing 101, 102, 103 miles an hour before with an elbow that was gaining on Tommy John surgery. So it wasn't healthy, and now it'll be healthy. So, I don't know that I would say there could be more there, but it's certainly likely he's going to maintain what he had before.
Kevin, as we watch these spring training games, how much do these games, we hang on how each player is doing, and how much do they impact the overall team in terms of who's on the field and who's going to be in the rotation? Does it matter much? Do they already know going in, or are they watching?
It's both, actually, and it really just depends on the guy, right? So people like Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, Adam Wainwright, they're not really going to care about what the numbers tell you. Those numbers don't mean anything. Those guys are working on specific things. And they know exactly what it takes to be ready for the season, and they have jobs that are not going to be going anywhere. The performance in games matters a lot more for people that are on the fringe, that are battling for a spot, maybe trying to make it to the big leagues after spending time in the minor leagues. But even then, it's not so much the statistics that'll tell you the tale, right? I mean, Mike Shilton and pretty much everybody down there will tell you that they care more if a guy hits 3 balls hard and gets no hits, as opposed to nothing hard, but he gets a hit because a little dribbler gets through the infield. They're going to care more about the things that are not measured statistically, but are measured in the ballpark, right? So, one thing that'll tell you that Jordan Hicks is healthy, as an example, might not be his ERA at the end of the spring, but the fact that he's throwing 102 miles an hour. I saw this story out of Tampa the other day. It was interesting because obviously, Randy Arozarena is there, and his statistics are terrible in spring. He's not getting any hits, but he's hitting the ball harder than anybody else, and he's doing it regularly. Like, his average exit velo is ridiculous, so nobody there is worried. And I think that's the hard part for all of us from a distance, is we aren't seeing those measurements, and we're not seeing, you can see with your eyes, like a couple of days ago, Tyler O'Neill went 1 for 2. One ball was a double into the corner. The other ball was an out, but it was hit every bit as hard as the double into the corner. So that's 2 good at bats, not just 1. And I think that's the stuff they'll be looking at.
So let's talk a little bit about what this season is going to look like, especially here at the beginning. Some news about an alternate site being right here in our backyard at the Gateway Grizzlies Stadium in Sauget. What can you tell us about what that means for the Cardinals and what that looks like?
The simplest, what it means for the Cardinals is the players that'll be available to them in the month of April to fill in if there are injuries or somebody tests positive for COVID or whatever. Or if they just want to demote somebody. I mean, let's be honest, they can do that too. That team is going to be playing, as you point out of GCS Ballpark instead of Springfield, where it was last year. And it basically, it's just convenience. You're 10, 15 minutes away from Busch Stadium. That means when the team goes on the road, this is something that John Mozeliak mentioned when they announced this decision, that, the Cardinals go on the road. Well, the guys at that alternate camp can just come down the road and work at Busch Stadium. They can do some things under the lights, get some at bats against each other under the lights, or they can, get work on grass, because I'm not sure how many people follow it, but the ballpark at GCS Park is all turf. So that'll be a different environment, especially from a defensive standpoint than it would be at Busch Stadium. So it's a matter of convenience. And what Mo also said was that the group there will probably look a lot like the AAA roster. The reason they have to do this is because the minor league season is not going to start until May. So you need coverage for the month of April at the major league level. You're going to need players that are, close on hand, that are getting regular work, that are playing in simulated game environments and keeping their pitch counts up. So it's the same thing as last year, except that it's a lot closer, a little bit more convenient.
So it's as I understand it, it's still not really like a public thing. It's still going to be closed off to the public, or is there going to be any access for people to see these players up close that they normally would have to go to Springfield to see?
I have not seen anything put out there about that, so I'm assuming that it's closed.
Okay.
I think if it was open, I think they would have made that clear. So I would assume that it is not open to the public. And a lot of that is, I mean, given the smaller stadium, it doesn't. I don't know if you guys have been out there. I'm out there quite a bit.
It's a great facility.
It's super nice. But when you look at, there's only like one or two ways into the ballpark. There's not a ton of parking, and I don't think they want a lot of close contact with the public at this point. Like for nothing at spring training is open. Like you can't get on the backfields. You can buy a ticket to the games, but you can't get on the backfields or anything like that. So I don't know the answer 100% for sure, but since they didn't say anything about it, I would assume that it is not going to be open to the public.
Kevin Wheeler, KMOX sports reporter, on with us. In light of that news, the GCS ballpark, the Grizzlies news, that's really cool, by the way, being in Illinois especially. I would love to be able to partake in that in some way. But is that part of there's been a lot of these kinds of changes in the last year or two because of COVID. Do you see any of them being permanent, or is all this going to go away as soon as life gets back to normal?
I think they would like to be quote unquote normal soon. I do think they're going to maybe adapt some of these things. They're going to make some of the parts of it permanent, but I don't think you're not going to see alternate site. I mean, there's just no reason to run a separate facility when your minor league teams are going. But I do think they're going to maybe pay a little bit more attention to, being flexible and having different ways of going about things, just because they learned that lesson. More of the things that we're going to see, I think that will be longer term lessons, will be in how the games play out. Like, how cautious are teams going to be this year about workloads for pitchers, or heck, even if position players play as many games as they normally would, based on the fact that they're all coming off a short season. And I'll be interested to see kind of how they adjust off of that.
Speaking with Kevin Wheeler right now, I want to ask you a little bit about college basketball. March is upon us, and of course, I'm a big Illinois fan, being here in Illinois, and watching that team just continue to dominate has been super fun. We've got Mizzou and a question mark surrounding SLU basketball to see if they're going to get into the tournament. What do you think the lay of the land is here?
Well, I mean, I'll go backwards. So SLU is on the bubble by almost all accounts, based on the people who cover, bracketology, right? They cover the NCAA tournament pretty much year round now. But a lot of the advanced metrics like them. They rank largely in the 40s and 50s in a lot of the big, analytical tools, right? You've got the NCAA's own net rankings. You've got, ESPN's got a power ranking. You got Sagarin ratings. They got all kinds of different power rankings, and they're all based on strength of schedule, margin of victory. They have their own formulas, but they're based on a lot, and they do pretty well in those. So I think there's at least a decent chance that they're going to get in. I think Mizzou is in. I guess if they lose today, maybe that comes into question. They're playing in their first game in the SEC tournament tonight against Georgia, but I think they're probably okay. And obviously Illinois. I mean, nothing to question there. The only question there is whether they're a 1 seed or a 2 seed. I don't think
they're going to be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
You think they'd be?
It'll depend on what happens in the conference tournaments. Mm-hmm. If they win the Big Ten tournament, they're going to be a 1 seed for sure. If Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament, well, then Michigan probably will be. I think Baylor's going to be a 1 seed. Gonzaga is going to be a 1 seed. And after that, you've got 3 or 4 teams that are in the mix, and who knows? Maybe both Michigan and Illinois could end up in that range, again, depending on what happens this week. But in truth, it doesn't matter. People like to argue about those things, but I mean, the truth is, if you're a 1 seed or a 2 seed, you're expected to go deep. And by the time you get deep, you're playing other good teams anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'll be a shameless self-promoter, Annie. We've got Brad Underwood at 6:30 on Sports Open Line tonight. So if anybody wants to hear from the coach, they'll get to do that tonight.
6:30 on KMOX?
Yep,
I would love to hear that. Before we let you go, let's talk a little bit of St. Louis Blues. How are you feeling right now? They've got Tarasenko back, and it seems like there's some ups and some downs, but what are you thinking about the Blues at this point in time?
I'm totally impressed. I mean, I could not be more impressed with the fact that, and look, I know that, the West Coast swing, they weren't playing they weren't playing the best teams in the league, but you're playing with 2/3 of a roster. And, I know we keep coming back to that, because it's relevant. I mean, they're not going to use it as an excuse, but we certainly have to factor it in. And the fact that they're playing as short as they are on the roster, and they just went out and got points in 6 straight games, going 4-0-2 on a West Coast swing is pretty impressive. Now, they've got Vegas twice this weekend. That's going to be a little tougher. Vegas is a better team than the Kings or the Sharks. And then they got the Kings then they go back on the road next week, and they go back to LA and San Jose, and they go to Vegas. So, it's going to get a little bit tough, but I could not be more impressed with the fact that they just keep grinding out wins and keep getting points despite all of these ridiculous injuries. And it's great to see Vlad back, by the way. And, he probably doesn't have his timing fully there yet, but it looks like he's skating pretty well. And he's been in some of the key offensive situations, almost scored a goal that would have won the game in LA, the second game in LA. And I was pretty solid against San Jose the other day too. So if they can get healthy, and, when I talked to Doug Armstrong about a week and a half ago, we talked a bit about what the timetable could be looking at. And he's hoping by early April, maybe early to mid-April, they can get most of these guys back. They won't get them all back, but get most of these guys back and then be healthy going into the playoffs in mid-May.
Well, it sounds exciting. A lot of exciting things. I mean, granted, last year at this time, everything was shutting down and closing down. So being able to talk about actual things happening and also have a lot of competition here in our local area, it's really exciting. I'll be excited to hear Brad Underwood as well, Coach Underwood for the Fighting Illini at 6:30 with Kevin Wheeler and KMOX. We'll be tuning in.
Thank you much. Appreciate it.
Of course. We'll talk to you again soon. Kevin Wheeler, KMOX sports reporter. I mean, I know that everybody who listens to this show isn't necessarily obsessed with college basketball, and then even further, Illinois. But when I was in college, was early 2000s, Illinois was so good, and they were so fun to watch, and it was so refreshing to be able to watch the kind of Big Ten basketball that they were playing then, and a lot of storied careers coming out of that, and they're just super fun to watch right now as well. So I'm going to listen to Coach Underwood on KMOX at 6:30 with Kevin. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we can talk a little bit about this tweet that Katie sent me. Katie sends me things that make her mad. She doesn't respond to them on Twitter anymore because, I mean, it appears as though you've learned your lesson, but I don't think that you had to. You locked your Twitter down.
It's true. I got burned.
You criticized Jim Acosta.
And boy, oh boy, did I learn that a lot of people love themselves some Jim Acosta.
Yeah, I'm sure that there'd be just a flood of people who would come out and defend Peter Ducey with the same vigor that they did Jim Acosta. I don't know. But, what do Jesus and politicians have in common? I'll tell you what some lefties on Twitter think about it when we come back, because I think it is a very, very good example of how an entire portion of our country thinks right now. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I can't help myself.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 52 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment. Do you have a warm heart and a caring soul? Are you really devoted to being able to help others? Give us a call at Comfort Care 314-965-9600. Let us help you turn your dreams into reality as you help our friends, our families, and our clients live their best lives possible. Remember, 314-965-9600.
Move into your new dream home without leaving your old one. When you hire the professionals as CertaPro painters, painting is the perfect way to renew and refresh the home you love. You can trust the proven experts at CertaPro painters to handle every detail. Worry-free from start to finish. Painting inside or out, you deserve service you can count on. Get your project started today with a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Lance Drury. If you have payroll tax problems, you have serious legal problems, you need an attorney. Call 314-260-6120 or toll free 888-367-6512 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
Exciting news for you folks. If you've been considering a bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, I just got a message from Stewie today. First of all, he says hello. He says he loves working with the Annie Fry Show listeners. He is just tickled whenever he gets another call from another Annie Fry Show listener who wants to do a bagel loan because he says you guys have your act together. And I said, well, I'm very proud of them. And I'm glad that they do, because that's why they listen to the show. When you go to do a bagel loan, it used to be a $250,000 amount that you had to owe or have to refinance. He's lowered it to $200,000. Rates are still crazy low. And if you want to do a refinance on your house, and if you want to make sure that you lock in these rates while they are as low as they are, now you can do it if you owe $200,000 or more in your home. So reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Reach out to Stewie today. Tell him Annie said hello, and join all of those other Annie Fry Show listeners who have booked a bagel loan with Stewie. And I keep hearing from you folks. You were so glad that you did. The only regret, wish you would have done it sooner. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
There's a big red barn where you save green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11. The Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss it.
The Dave Glover Show.
And it was made in 1968. And in the first or second one, they went to 1978, where we were on a Mars mission. Missed that by a few decades.
Weekdays at 3 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Just got done speaking with Kevin Wheeler. A lot of cool things going on in spring training. Good to hear positive news about Jordan Hicks and Alex Reyes being in the bullpen. And my goodness, if, as he said, if those two gentlemen are healthy for the year, we will be fun to watch. If you missed it, go to radio.com, find 97.1 FM Talk. You can search it and you can just rewind. It was the last segment, probably started about 2:27. That's my best guess. Geez, I want to do this first. Listen to this is out of the United Kingdom here. Listen to this Baroness.
And in the week that the woman, Sarah Everard, was abducted and we suppose killed because remains have been found in a woodland in Kent, I would argue that at the next opportunity for any bill that's appropriate, I might actually put in an amendment to create a curfew for men on the streets after 6 p.m., which I feel would make women a lot safer.
Oh. So there was apparently a crime. It sounds like a tragic crime. And the solution is to disallow men to be on the street after 6 p.m. Real solutions being proposed, I guess, in Parliament in the United Kingdom from Green Party member Baroness Jones. I saw this on Twitter and I was like, no way. And I sent it to Katie. She's like, that's on your sheet. I go, oh, I saw Baroness and just ignored it. I thought we were talking about the royals again. And I was like, nah, that's ridiculous. How do you ban men from being out? And also the implication that, if we removed men from the street after 6 p.m., women would be safer.
Why are we not looking at things on a case-by-case basis and saying this was an individual thing that happened? Let's hold the people accountable that partook in this. Let's hold them to whatever standard. Let's not take it out on men. Why are we doing this?
Plus, I want to take my man out after 6 p.m.
I want to take him out. I want to kiss him. Okay? I
want to watch people kiss.
Come on.
I just want to see people kiss. That's what Katie says. Katie wants to be a walking kiss cam. You're going to walk around with the camera and just be like, would you guys kiss? Just want to video it.
I'm going out to eat at 7 p.m.
No kidding. If you're going to, I mean, how are we supposed to sneak our post kids going to bed ice cream at home if my husband can't be out past 6 p.m. to get the ice cream after the kids go to bed? It's the great privilege of being a parent, right? You do these things. It's the real small victories in life.
It seems to me that this is scary because, and it's not the U.S. So that's a good. Let's just say, hey, this is great. It's
no, the U.S. wants to ban men at 5 p.m.
Right? Yeah, we want to do it more. This stuff wouldn't have been suggested before COVID, right? I mean, this is a new thing now that we can just make these broad sweeping changes. We can control entire groups of people now because we've seen that we can do it, right?
Ugh. I don't know. I don't know that this has anything to do with COVID. I mean, in the context of crime, COVID hasn't made us segregate each other by gender and limit one person's freedoms over the other on the virtue of keeping the other gender safe. I don't know. Europe has been much more locked down than we have for sure, but
and they're saying, wild. And you sent me something, Annie, from the other day. Macron from France, he was like, the things that are happening in the U.S., the wokeness that's happening from the U.S., like, keep that away. It's out of control.
France is telling us how we should ease up on our progressiveness.
It's like, please, come on.
Mohammed Safa tweeted on Twitter, which is where you tweet. And I came across this because a lot of people, I had seen it being retweeted and people reacting to it. Why, when Jesus talks about feeding the poor, it's Christianity? But when a politician talks about feeding the poor, it's socialism. A few things, few points of order there, Mr. Safa. First of all, Christianity is not about doing good things. I mean, maybe this is my walk in my Christian faith, but being a good person does not make you a good Christian. Being a good person is not what Christianity is. Christianity is actually an admission that you're a pretty crap person, of which I am a pretty crap person. And the idea of Christianity is that there's something that comes in your place and replaces your not good enough with perfect. That's Christ. That's why it's called Christianity, for the folks in the back of the room. So to suggest that Jesus feeding the poor is indicative of what Christianity actually is, feeding the poor is a product of being a Christian, but it's not what makes you a Christian. Acknowledging who and what Jesus is what makes you a Christian. And if you don't understand Christianity, maybe don't use it as a foundational brick for propping up socialism. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to like what Christianity is. We don't even have to necessarily agree what Christianity is. But I get so sick and tired. It's the same thing as Democrats like Representative Jayapal going, well, these Republicans are going to really have to, I'm really concerned about them going back to their constituents, all of the Republicans who vote against the COVID bill here, because they're going to have to explain to their, you don't understand why they're Republicans. You don't understand, like, we don't have a foundational agreement about what you're talking about here for your criticism of said thing to apply. It's like you don't speak the language that's necessary in order for the argument to take place. So to get to the further part of the point, why when Jesus talks about feeding the poor, it's Christianity, but when a politician talks about feeding the poor, it's socialism. You're talking about two different realms here. You're talking about the point of Christianity is about brokenness made whole. It's about salvation. It's not about how many credits do I get in a day to put in my I was a good person today box so I can look at how many credits I have and feel really good about myself. That has absolutely nothing to do with what the foundational part of being a Christian is. And as somebody who is a Christian, speaking to right now people who are Christians and people who aren't Christians, it's important that you don't concede the ground of, like, that Donald Trump, for instance, couldn't be a Christian because he does bad things. Christians, all of them, every single one of them do bad things. That's why they need something to atone for the bad things that they do. So it's important to not concede that ground if you're a Christian when something like this comes up. But are you honestly telling me that you can't see the difference between a politician who has to do what a lot of politicians have to do, glorify themselves in order to become an elected official, to vote on spending other people's money to provide for people who they deem in need, all while lining their pockets and ensuring that they continue their career in politics? I mean, it's so ignorant in so many different ways for just 2 lines in a tweet that it's really, really hard for me to stomach. Government is the absolute religion of the left. They worship at the altar of progressive leftism. They think that by doing that, I've said this so many times, where if you vote Democrat because you think maybe you've been blessed with a high income, maybe you've been blessed with more than you need, and you can afford higher taxes, it makes you feel good to pay higher taxes because you think you're helping people. Why on earth is that the only way that your extra blessings can help people, is for it to be laundered through local government, state government, federal government? Why is it? It's what I always refer to as a lazy man's charity. If you need to feel good inside because you feel like your dollars are going to help somebody, understand what portion of your dollar, when it goes to be paid in taxes, actually gets to the person who it's actually helping. And if you were to take that dollar and just go give it to somebody who's in need, how much more good you can do on your own. That is the premise of conservatism, that you, in your goodness as a person and your desire to do good and to be helpful, can do good and be helpful without the government's fingerprints getting anywhere near your choices and your decisions of where your blessings go. The idea that a politician even needs to get into the process of feeding the poor takes the responsibility off of the person who has the dollar to do it themselves. And I promise you, you know where your dollars can help more immediately, more quickly, more expansively than any politician who you could give that dollar to. You mix religion and politics, it's never at the benefit of religion. It's always at the benefit of politics, and it always completely disregards the actual foundation of religion. If you're not a Christian, that's fine, but I am, and I got to stand up for that stuff when I hear it. Stick around, TGS coming up next.
So beat the drum with me. Remember that mammogram you postponed?